This is Chit Chat That with John and Stefan.
Welcome to Chit Chat That podcast. I'm John.
I'm Stefan.
I'm Dallin.
And we're here to chit chat that.
All right. So I was going to start off with a question for you guys because I'm sick. I don't know what it is. It's in my lungs, and usually that means it's spread by respiratory droplets, so I'm probably contagious. And I went to work today. What's your guys' opinion on that? Going into work when you're sick?
I don't know.
My opinion is I never call in sick. I had kidney stones, and I took half the day off, and I'll never forgive myself, and I feel like a failure and a wimp for doing it. I'll just go in sick.
You went to the hospital, though.
Yeah.
I did, but I got out in time to go to work.
Sorry,
I was discharged at like 6:30, and I didn't have to be worked till 8. Well, actually, I didn't have to be worked till 11. So yeah, even worse. I didn't get there until like 3. I took 4 hours off.
Weren't you there in the morning?
Stones.
I thought you were the opening pharmacist.
Did you want earbuds?
I'm not sure. I remember the other lady was
you can hear everybody?
Nina.
In the way it's going to kind of sound. Sorry.
But I remember
Kidney stones are no joke.
Chad that came into work one time, Chad that we used to work with, he was sick, and Rick, the pharmacist, that had no filter whatsoever, be like, Chad, what are you doing? You're sick. Everybody's sick. Go home. And he like sent him home. And I was like, I come to work sick all the time.
Maybe he didn't take enough Sudafed.
I hop up on Sudafed.
Yeah, like, you take a lot of Sudafed.
I do it, and I can get through the day, but
I remember you told me to take like 4, and it was the same as like an extended release one. Honestly, I didn't feel the difference, but later on, Katie told me, she's like, no, that would be like, she drew a graph for me. She's like, that's going to be like a spike here, and then just goes down. It's like the extended release, over time, like, oh, I heard that it didn't matter.
And I'm gonna have to look into that, because I didn't think that the pseudoephedrine had any extended release properties to it.
Then it might, I don't know.
I'm going to have to pull out some pharmacokinetic data.
Yeah,
data.
That's just what I've heard. Datum. Every pharmacist is different. They look at Sudafed like it's just the way you do it.
Well, that Rick guy was like, no, you should get Sudafed. Just go home and rest. And he would like...
Oh, really?
Wouldn't let anybody have any medications.
Well, there was that...
he's crazy.
That pharmacist, Dick, he was telling some customers that came up, and he's like, oh, this stuff doesn't work. Just man up.
Yeah, Rick.
Yeah, Rick.
Richard.
Rick, I guess that's the same thing.
You're the same guy. We were talking about the same guy, yeah.
Well, yeah, was he Asian?
No, he's that old dude with the stapler.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, he brings his own stapler into work.
Yeah.
And
yes,
I guess
he
can't go to some stores because of sexual harassment. Like, he'll be like, you
was?
look good, turn around for me. And he like tells people stuff like that.
And they take that as sexual harassment?
Well, ask Matt.
They should go work at Springville.
Okay, so...
Ask Matt Lauer.
I was going to talk about sexual harassment because I do a lot of things that would be considered that. They're all jokes, and they're inappropriate jokes. And as I hear all these things coming out about sexual harassment, I'm like, maybe I'm not so great at that. Yeah. But like, I never touch anybody or be like, hey, baby, turn around. Like, that's where I think it like becomes really inappropriate.
Because you're eyeballing them? To say that to turn around, like,
yeah.
That's to kind of Google. What is that? What's the word? It's not Google. Goggle?
Google? Oogle?
Oogle.
Yeah.
Oogle's the one. Yeah, I'm like, okay. Yeah.
Oogling.
That's the one.
Yeah, I'm not, but it's not like trapping them in a room and going by the door so they can't escape and then like getting naked and doing stuff to yourself.
Well, is that more than sexual harassment?
Well, that's pretty bad.
I think it's sort of like you like know us well enough that you can make like pretty much any joke and we won't be offended.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of the new people, like sometimes like even if you make like just like the most mild joke, you can tell they're like, oh my gosh, that just happened at a pharmacy.
And I was like, you guys haven't seen the beginning of it.
You gotta see John put
this is just a regular
his foot up on the desk. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I'll do like dance moves.
Yeah.
But I do
open
think
the C2 drawer.
I do think there is something with sexual harassment that like, and Saturday Night Live did it. I always talk about Saturday Night Live. I need to stop doing that. But anyways, like they did a sketch about it. But like people that are attractive, it's like they can't sexually harass. But people that are not attractive, everything they do is sexual harassment. So they had a sketch, and it was James Franco, and he was like this big CEO guy, and he would make like the smallest inappropriate conduct, and they're like, you're a pig, and they're going after him. And then there's this old janitor dude. Everybody liked it, but he'd say like disgusting things like, oh, "That's just Cecil. Like he just does
No
that.
big
It's
deal."
him."
Yeah.
So the janitor guy got away with it, but he was played by who?
Keenan. Remember
Oh
from
yeah,
Keenan
the
and Kel?
fat guy. Yeah. Does that mean to say fat? Big
Prob-
guy. Well, I didn't say
Well,
anything
hey,
else.
fat
It was-
shaming.
that's not. Yeah. That's
Yeah, fat shaming.
then it has to be. Yeah. Isn't that like a new like phrase right now? It's like you've been fat shamed.
That's
It's
one
like,
of the trigger words.
Yeah.
Well,
That's like.
I saw
What is that?
on this one thing. I was on YouTube and they were talking to like a guest audience, and this lady that was obese, maybe I don't know, maybe obese is okay to say. She was like, "I'm healthy, I'm overweight, but it's okay, I feel fine." And he's like, "Has a doctor told you were fine?" And like she just kept going off him about like fat shaming. He's just like looking at her like, "You don't know what you're talking about." Because I think, yeah, we're getting into like this weird thing where you can't talk about weight.
Or
And
anything.
everyone's like, "I'm comfortable in my own skin," and it's like, well, you may be comfortable, but your heart's not very comfortable,
right.
and your kidneys are taking kind of a little bit of a pounding.
Yeah.
Well, and it's sad because you can't even suggest anything that maybe it would make them better, maybe it wouldn't. But it's the idea of like any kind of suggestion to better someone's life is like rude.
Yeah, yeah.
So you should lose some weight. Are you saying I'm fat? I'm just saying you might be better off. Maybe I don't know. Just a suggestion. But
And in the medical field, like we're all working in the pharmacy, like we have times where we need to make those suggestions.
right. Otherwise, they get in trouble.
No, I direct those to you.
Oh yeah.
John talked about
Yeah,
that.
John will do that.
But yeah, like somebody comes in and they have really bad heartburn. It's like, well, it only happens when you're sleeping, but when you lay down, you have like 60 pounds of fat pushing on your organs, and that's pushing up everything else. Like, if you lost that, you'd probably feel better. Also, all that food you eat right before you go to bed, probably not the best idea. But like, people are so sensitive.
Yeah, to
Pansies.
suggest anything.
Well, it's sort of interesting. I'm sure that there's been a picture floating around. It was posted by like BuzzFeed or something. Well, the original picture, there was two pictures and they were shown side by side, both from BuzzFeed. And on the left was DiCaprio and he had like a beer gut, and it was like, look at DiCaprio's beer gut, like just making fun of him, like totally taking shots at him. And then on the right was Amy Schumer, and it says like Amy Schumer proudly showing her beach bod, and she's like got pretty much the same gut. And so it's sort of like interesting that like for females, like they're trying to empower it, but like men it's still free game to like trash talk on weight. So it's sort of interesting about that.
Yeah, there always seems to be that it's okay for us but not you, double standard kind of thing.
I think weight should be fair game for everybody.
Right.
Stefan, you are so fat right now.
Yeah, and you know what? I couldn't deny it. I'd be like, yeah, I've got a few extra
I've been working
spare
on it.
tires.
Not very hard, because I love food.
Right.
But I didn't eat today till like 7:30, because I've been
This
sick
morning?
and I can't eat. No, night.
When
Which isn't
When
normal.
was the last time you ate?
I usually, like, if I have nothing to do and I get bored, I eat. I'm hungry, not hungry. It's good food, bad food. I don't really care.
It all comes
I just
together.
eat it. Yeah, all the time. But that's one thing that drives me crazy is when, like, people are trying to, like, promote equality, but it's not. Like, what he just said where, like, feminists would be like, oh, and then they go about it. I'm trying not to, like, sound like a dick. So it's hard to, like, frame
Good
this
luck.
sentence.
I know.
But
yeah,
there's, like, a double standard.
yeah, and it's to say it's okay for us to say it, but not anyone else is. I mean, that already causes that separation that we keep feeling like the public is trying to say. No, there shouldn't be any kind of separation between everybody. We're all like equal, and yet they.
But then
always-
that's racist. You're not appreciating people's cultures.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's
There's
no
no
way to
winning.
win. No, there isn't. There's no way to win. You do.
To me,
hopeless.
I don't care. Like, an asshole's an asshole. Like, I don't care what gender,
Oh, I was thinking
what
like
race,
the
anything like
technicals.
that. Oh, no.
I was like, you're right.
A butthole's a butthole.
I would agree with that wholly.
Yeah, whether they're a good person or a bad person, like, it depends on what kind of person they are, not like what gender, what race. And it's weird because then you think about that and then you're racist.
Yep.
But I'm still saying I'm not racist.
That's a
Not even a
cognitive
little.
dissonance. Buddy, you're white.
Hey, no,
I know. I feel like I can't.
No, we're diverse though in this because you see.
Yeah. Stefan
This is a diverse
wife.
podcast.
He
I'm
just-
not going to say anything, but this just know.
Okay,
If
I
you're
won't.
watching this, this is a diverse podcast.
I won't do any spoiler, and that will save me.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I have a whatever friend,
Yeah, you can't say what it
but you
is.
can't say that either, because then
you
there's
become a
differences.
token. Yes.
I become a token? Or who's a token with... What's a token? I was just like, who's becoming the token and what is a token?
Token from South Park, obviously.
Oh,
There's like
that's a
the
show I have not saw.
like a movie. There'll be like just the token black guy that they add in just to do
Oh.
black guy things.
It's true. See, that's what I am, I guess, on this. Dang it.
What
There's
do you
no way
think?
out of it.
What do you think
Your-
about those
Color commentator.
Yeah.
workstations where like most people like their job stations, like they sit and type on the computer and then like you can raise it up so you can stand up, because obesity is only getting worse because of sedentary lifestyles and like more jobs are going towards
To desks.
cubicles.
Yeah.
So I mean, we work standing up all day, like unless you're a fatty working at drop off all day. But,
Everyone looks
We're
at
like,
Stefan.
not me.
He's the
I
one that
looked
takes the
over-
chair. He's the only one sitting down. He
no,
just
please, if you're off
Let
a
me
drop
look down,
off,
he's like
Everybody uses
typing on
that
his
chair. I use it.
when I
do
go
type
down
on
there,
it.
but I'm not a drop off very often. But yeah, like
That's true.
when I was at school, they had like treadmills in our little pharmacy lounge, and on the treadmills, that a spot where you can put like your laptop, so you can study and be on the treadmill. It was so hard to study. I can't do that. I have to be like in a box and put like on a hoodie and get myself really hot and miserable. That's the only way I can study.
I don't understand
really
how
bad
people
ADD.
can read or do stuff on a treadmill.
I can
Yeah.
barely work out. I can barely study. I could not do the same at the same time.
No,
No.
that's
You're like bouncing up and down.
No.
You're like, oh yeah, this is
no. I
not
can't
distracting
do that
at
either.
all.
That's
I can't do it in car either. I get really car sick easy.
oh
If I'm on
yeah.
my phone too much.
I never thought
she's
I got
probably not
car
gonna
sick.
watch this, but like my wife's driving and I'm on my phone. It's just a recipe for disaster. And it's not because she's a female. It's because she's a crazy driver.
You
She,
like
like-
say bad driver.
No, she's not bad. I think she's a good driver. She just approaches brakes really quick and accelerates really quick. Doesn't slow down enough for turns.
There's not much of a gradual.
That's pretty much the only thing. But that's like the recipe for car sickness.
a lot of hard stop and goes.
So yeah, if you drive fast, like that's okay, as long as it's not 0 to 60 really quick, and then 60 to 0 really quick, and then 60 around turns, and then I'm still good.
The only time I've ever feared for my life driving have been with women that I've dated. There was one chick, Essie, and she drove a friggin' 80s Corolla, and we about T-boned a car. That was fun.
Essie sounds like
So
a
the
nickname.
women drive on your dates?
Hey man,
Do they
I'm all
want-
for equality.
There you go. There you go. That's how you do
There
it.
was another chick who was flashing a highway patrol officer to get out of her way, while she had one of her lights out. She's flashing the brights at him.
Okay, flashing the brights. Okay,
I was
I
surprised
thought
she
you
didn't get a
meant
ticket.
she pulled her boobs out.
No,
Well, you know what? It doesn't matter. They don't get
she
tickets.
definitely would have gotten pulled over there.
I've had like 2 tickets, I think, in my life, and my wife has had none, but she's been pulled over more often.
Okay, so Officer Pedersen
Not to say that
in
there's
Delta,
any...
Utah.
Oh.
I'm calling him out right meow.
Oh.
So I was in the car with my buddy, and we were pulling into the parking lot. So I took off my seatbelt as we were pulling in, and then he flashes his lights. As soon as that happens, we both got tickets for not wearing a seatbelt. It's like, hey guys, sorry, we got to give tickets for everything. You got to be, on it all the time.
Yeah.
Later,
That's
my friend,
BS.
who's a girl, she had 8 girls in her little car, and
That's
like.
like
Some are on the
4-seater,
floor
yeah.
and everything like that, and they're speeding on Main Street, ran a red light, and got a warning.
It's so lame. And there's
You
no way
gotta give
around
everybody tickets? Oh, do you?
it. I don't know.
Maybe so,
Well,
man.
anyway, I feel like it's hopeless for guys, because if it's a woman cop, they just hate you, and if it's a guy cop, they just want to like flex their muscles and say, "I'm giving you a ticket," because then the women will think
I think
I'm
it's
cool.
disgusting because the girls were
I don't
like
know.
16, 17. He was like 30.
Maybe that's a
Get a
bad
handle on
opinion.
yourself, man.
Hopefully, yeah. I don't know.
I just called him a pedophile. I didn't mean to.
Did you really?
And I also called out his name. Nobody watches this.
That's right. We're just putting it up there because
Whoops.
we can.
Not saying you did, but that does bug me. Like, we had teachers, too, where
Same
they lost
thing.
some of my assignments because I never not turn in my assignments. Like, I'm responsible. So it's like, hey, so it's saying I'm missing these assignments, but I turned them in, and I went to his box and I found them. I'm like, they're just right here. Like, it has a grade on it. And it's been there the whole time.
And you haven't put it in.
And like, he didn't believe me. And then another girl's like, hey, I forgot to do this. Can I do it? And he let her like redo it and hand it in. And I was like, I'm not attractive enough, so I will get in trouble for sexual harassment.
I think that's just a problem with academic standards across the board, though. Because you use a joke. I don't know about Utah.
I think education, to some extent, is a joke. I think every school's different, but to some extent, I mean, it's all based on the teachers and their preference on stuff. I mean, they're the ones that call the shots in the end, and if they're more sexually inclined to certain things, then they tend to favor certain people.
I have my favorites. It's human nature to have your favorites. I'm not saying like whether it's sexual or not, but like people don't say it, but you have a favorite kid.
This is the part where you look at
it sounds like I'm not going to say anything.
I just gonna be like, well, yeah, I don't.
It can change.
It does.
Like,
I guess it does. It
changes day to day. Like you probably have your overall favorite, but you're like, nah, I'm liking them today. They're kind of not crying all day.
Yeah, they're not being a pest.
Yeah. So like it changes all the time, but like you have your favorites. Like there's no way to deny it.
Nope.
Like at work when I was a manager, like I had my favorites. I still do. I can't help it. It's human nature. And if they don't like me for it, they're just playing favorites with everybody else.
Yeah. Well, just personalities, right? Personalities just certain, they mesh.
Some don't. Like
you guys in agreement? No, well,
like
we're
down
like just
at work,
not,
like harder to get along with, but like
But here,
pretty cool.
during CCT.
Yeah, like Katie. Everyone loves Katie.
No.
Katie's awesome.
It's true.
It's
my wife has never met Katie, but she says she already likes her.
My wife walked in to the pharmacy. She thought Callie and Katie were really alike. I think they kind of are.
They could be.
They're both uber dorks.
In a good way. Like
I didn't say in a bad way.
As I get older, like
there are good dorks and bad dorks.
Being weird is like more acceptable. I was like, I don't care if you're weird as long as you're nice. When you're weird and like mean,
then it just comes off as
so
a
like
jerk.
that old janitor that like
gets called
eats stuff out of the garbage and yells at kids down the hall. Like he's a jerk and he's weird, so it's not good. But if he's eating stuff out of the trash, but would say funny jokes and flip it up into the air and then you get it, I mean, it would have been slightly cooler. I never had a janitor eat trash. Never seen it.
I don't think I have either. I know I saw it in a music
I saw a homeless
video.
guy do it.
What?
I saw a homeless guy do it. There'd be one in Salt Lake. So whenever I got onto tracks at 21st South, he would be there like every morning, and he opens up the garbage and he just sits there and eats food. But he wasn't like, he had nice glasses and he had like pretty decent clothes. So I don't know why he was eating trash. And he wasn't skinny, so it's not like he needed it.
Maybe he just liked trash. You know, some people got fetishes.
No, man, he's saving the world one wheat grain at a time.
Wheat grain.
So
he's just going straight to the recycle.
Yeah, he's like
he just
really hates waste.
Yes,
there
that's
you
what
go.
it is.
He's like, well, and sometimes with the food that's there, how long would you wait before you ate?
So that brings up a funny thing. So I used to be a janitor in undergrad at SUU, and I got a gig where like after football games and after basketball games, I'd help clean up, and you like sweep the key at basketball games. So you got paid to do that. So you're pretty much getting paid to watch the game. But after the football game, like and the basketball game to an extent, but especially after football games, I found a bag and it had like 12 double cheeseburgers. They're all still wrapped, and I was like, I'm a poor college kid. Like, I should take this home. But I didn't want to be that guy that was like, like, John, what are you doing? And I have like all this food left over. I'm like, jackpot, baby. I did still won. There was a bag of unopened Twizzler nibs, like the big party size ones. I took home. I ate it all.
There was actually one of the events we did at UVU. It was a scholarship ball. We had to film it and everything. When everyone was done, they left. Some people just don't finish their food or don't even touch it. Like, they don't even eat it. And, you know, when we're cleaning up, I tried a couple of desserts that were, like, totally not touched. I was like, why didn't they eat this? It looks really good.
Then you find out they didn't eat it because something happened to it.
Yeah, it's all fun and games till you get mono.
Yeah, well,
I've already had mono, so I'm safe.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think I've ever had mono.
Have you had AIDS?
No.
Me neither.
I hope
That I
don't
know
have-
of.
Yeah, it's like as far as I know.
I've stabbed myself with needles twice, but it's before I do the shot. Because they come with those little plastic
Oh, that's right.
tops.
So there's
And
nothing.
sometimes
on
they
it
get
before.
stuck, so you have to like really yank on it. And when you yank on it, you get that rebound. And so I stabbed myself in the thumb. I'm like, dang it.
And then you use that one to get the flu shot.
And I scared Katie one time. I'm like, I know I don't got anything. They're good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Just
I'm
kidding.
Clean. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But one time, I got the flu shots and everything ready, and I stabbed myself with the Hep B one, and the Hep B stuff was still in there, like none got in me. But so I set it down over by my computer, and I got another one ready, and Katie went and administered them all. And so I grabbed the one that I stabbed myself with, and I was like, hey, you didn't give them their Hep B. And she's like, yeah, I did. I was like, no, did you give them this? And she's like, and she thought she gave them the wrong stuff, but I just messed with her. She was pretty scared.
I believe it because
That's why we all love Katie.
Well, it was a funny. Well, I didn't do anything, but she had printed off or went and wrung out the prescription at the thing for the flu shot or whatever it was, and she had the questionnaire with it, and she went and shredded the paperwork.
The questionnaire?
The questionnaire with it. She's like, "Where's the questionnaire?" I'm like, "I don't know. It was sitting there." And she's like, "I thought I had it." And she's looking around. She's like, "I think I shredded it." She just looked at me with her face dropped. She's like, "I think I shredded it." Like, you could have. I just laughed and I'm like, "Well, it's no big deal. We just, scan something in, whatever."
I remember you shredding a patient's insurance card. I don't know if you remember that.
Was it me?
I think I don't know if you did it or if you found it.
Dick.
Maybe you just found
Not
it.
Dick or Rick. Was the I can't say. Can I say?
Either way, you were the one that opened the shredder and were like, "Oh, here's part of it," and you're like pulling up the pieces.
No, yeah,
because the patient was like, "Where's my insurance card?"
No, but was that was with the? I thought, isn't it Rick?
Where's my stapler?
No, it's the Asian guy that went to Guam.
Oh, that Rick.
Yeah,
the one that
he
would
was
just
the one.
call you like, "Hey, you stink. You need to go home."
Yeah, he's the one. I put the insurance card in the bag, and it was a rebill.
Oh, and he
so
shredded
he
the
pulled
bag.
he pulled out all the paperwork and everything in it, and it was, I think, in his hand. He shredded it. Yeah, I remember pulling it out of the shredder like, it was a good old Select Health card. But he kicked me in the tush so many times. I don't know if that was really harassment.
Sexual harassment, man.
Well, it wasn't really sexual. It was more out of frustration.
You can just take it sexual.
That's true. That's all I have to do is go to HR. He kicked me in a way that just was not kosher for this
He
environment.
was fully aroused the whole time.
Yeah, I was getting.
I felt uncomfortable.
It's just a
No
problem.
telling what was under the smock.
Yeah, but that was funny.
The first time I ever worked, I went into the pharmacy,
miss Rick.
and it was like the first time going into the store. No, my first actual shift, because I did a Walmart Wednesday thing, and the first interaction I had, a guy was like, "We're gonna sue you." And so I had to talk to him. I was like, "Man, this is what a great way to start off being a manager." And then the first actual day I had, he's like, John, come here," and he like pulls me to the side. And he's like, "You're the manager. You need to squash these things really quick." So he talked to me about like personal hygiene for a while, and I was like, "Oh, hey, good to meet you. I'm John." It was awkward. But that was just kind of his style.
Yeah, he was very blunt about everything. Like, no, he didn't pull no punches or
Which
kicks.
is nice to a degree. Because sometimes, like, some people, you're like, I don't think they really like me. But they always, like, talk to you and they're all nice to you. But you're like, nah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of nice to know. Because then you're I'm looking for my water. So you're aware of it and you can, like, I'll just stop talking to them. They don't enjoy me. Like, I think, like, 3/4 of the people in the pharmacy can't stand me.
Oh
You
yeah,
think so?
easy.
Yeah. Easy. If
3-4.
not all. But I have to keep people happy. I have to like keep talking and not shut up.
You feel
So-
like if you unify the pharmacy and not
Yeah,
liking
all
you, it's
towards
like
hatred towards me.
they can all.
Well,
relate to something.
people think half of what I say to someone named Cameron. People think a lot of what I say is joking. It may not all be joking.
There is so
Only
much sexual
you're
tension
like,
between you two.
there's only about 90% that's not joking.
That
Well, we need
goes
a new-
for everybody.
Yeah, it's probably.
Now that's Steven / Steffens. We need a new Steven.
Actually, they've already started doing that. Last time I don't know if you were there.
Did they just say Cameron?
Yeah, they've just been saying
They need a pet name though.
Cammy.
Cammy. Well,
That's what Daniel's been
that
saying.
makes me cringe though.
I know.
Cameron?
Ron. No.
I can't think of a good one.
Cam, Ron.
Because Steve and Stefan, that's kind of unique.
That was pretty fun.
And like the funny thing is like Stefan never cares. He's always like full of cheer. Like somebody's like yelling at him full top. He's like,
He just turns around.
It's
okay.
like, you guys are wondering. I know. They're probably wondering like he's been taking too many of those drugs. It's like,
That guy's high.
It's like,
He's actually never done drugs in his life.
yeah, it's like I don't know. I don't know any of that, but probably looks that way. You're like, yeah. Okay, Dallin. Okay. Oh yeah, we forgot to mention we have guest Dallin here on CCT. Yeah, wait
Yep.
Sorry,
to
ladies, he's
our
no longer
family
single.
that will probably
It's been
watch this, that
it's
won't
been a
watch it.
week. Give it another week. We'll see what happens.
There you go.
If you're watching this,
Oh.
I still love you.
So, I had a question that I just posted on Twitter, but something I talked about at work. When do you tell your kids that Santa's fake? Spoiler alert, Santa's not real.
I'm gonna cry on camera. No, I'm just kidding.
Because I feel like less than 5, they shouldn't go to first grade or kindergarten still believing in Santa.
I don't know. I still think that it's, maybe closer to...
And so
Maybe
far on
7
Twitter,
or 8.
everyone's saying like over 10 years old.
Yeah, well,
It's still
I
okay
think 10,
for them to believe.
Yeah, and like you don't tell them till like after wake 10
They've already
years.
found out.
Like
I
the
think
category was 10 plus.
I don't know which is worse. To tell them up front or to, let it
Just wait
drag
till
on
then.
and then finally be like, you know what? We kind of were just, that's just a tradition.
And that was one of them was just like whenever the kid finds out.
Right.
yeah, you
But
don't
I feel like the kids should find out before 10 by themselves.
I don't know.
you don't want them to be the first, but you don't want them to be the last.
Well, how do you know? You go to school and say, how many kids by the raise of
No,
hands?
you kidding
No.
me? No, that was a big thing, man. When everybody's like talking crap on Santa.
Right, and you're the
Man.
one that...
And you're like, you monsters!
So being the last one is just in your group of frids? Or are you talking
No, you're
about
just
your whole class?
you're just the oblivious weirdo whose mom still.
See, I was the douchebag that was telling everybody, like, Santa's not real. What do you expect? Him to visit every single house? There's like 6 billion people.
I was probably one of the kids that sat there and went like, when they're like, he's not real, it's like could be. It's like,
I was like,
know.
we
I've
don't even
never
have a
seen
chimney.
him.
How are you supposed to come in?
Haven't you seen the Santa Claus?
Yeah, he like shrinks and goes through like the other pipes, but
Right, and then one magically appears.
one magically
That's
appears.
just how it goes. It's Santa.
Nah,
They've had so many movies about this.
that's just how my childhood went.
It's okay.
Yeah, so like I don't think I remember being in like first grade, and we're telling kids like, you still believe in Santa, and just being like,
Well, and I think
What?
every kid's different though. That's what's so.
I got nieces that are
interesting.
like 12, 13.
And they
that
still believe in it? The time I really found out
And I was
was
like,
when
if you're
I
not
ran
going to tell them, I'm going to
upstairs.
tell them. Like, when they're like 17 in high school and they're like, wait, what do you mean Santa's not real? And they start crying. Like, everyone's going to be like, they believe Santa was real? Like, you started to take chemistry and like biology. Like, you don't get that?
Well, and then there's probably some people that are like, well, that's okay. I mean, I don't know if it really is a problem. But I think every kid's different because I wonder if some kids, like, finding out on their own, they feel better about, and other kids maybe feel better just being told.
See,
ahead
I
of
don't
time.
remember ever believing like legitimately. Like it was just like one of those things. Like, oh, Dad put his foot in the flour again. Like we have to make cookies for that dude again. And it's just like magically.
My parents didn't do the cookies and milk thing. We'd leave them out, and I think they would eat them sometimes, but...
Because I remember being like 7, and I was the one that wrapped the presents for like the family.
Oh, really? Well, no
Yeah,
wonder
'cause it was
got ruined
cool.
for you.
Well, I knew
turned into an
before,
elf.
but I was just like, hey, yeah, I can wrap all these.
There you
And it
go.
was fun to wrap because you could see what everybody else got. That was cool. So I couldn't wrap my own, but I could wrap everybody else's. So I'd be like, I know what Jason's getting. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I think my wife's already kind of told our kids where it's more of the idea of Santa. Like, it's not real.
It's the
but
spirit of the holiday.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like the giving and the, Santa, that's why they sing about him.
And there's parents that do that. Like, they
Yeah.
never say Santa's real.
Yeah.
They're just like, no, it's just an idea of Santa.
Yeah,
So Santa's
it's-
not real.
But you get the idea that that's why they have all these songs about him.
And some do
stuff.
it because they have too big of an ego. They want somebody else's presents.
Right.
Not being from us. It's like, no, I got that present for you. I'm awesome. Love me.
Yeah.
But I think other things too, like, you have some kids that are really bad, but they have rich parents, so they get all these gifts. You're like, I was a good kid. That dude,
Right.
like, cuts up people's coats. Like, Kid's crazy. Why did he get nice presents? Like, this world is upside down.
Yeah, Santa's not doing his job.
So, yeah.
It's really easy to stay on the nice
So I try
list.
really hard to convince my wife to be like, Santa could do, like, a couple toys, but the rest be from us. And be like,
That's what my parents would do.
there's too
usually.
many kids. Santa can't spoil you too much. Plus, you're not that good at kids.
You know, yeah. If it was really to go off of like naughty or nice, I don't think anyone would get it.
Yeah,
Go
especially
around the
kids.
world.
Like,
No,
kids.
The environmentalists would be frustrated because like coal's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like all we got.
Who says Cole's dead?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'd
that's
have
right.
cheaper power, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's an awesome bribing tool.
yeah.
Like, we're doing, like, Elf on the Shelf, and we have Santa, and every time Berkeley's acting up.
Never did that.
Like, Zoe's too young to, like, care. She's just like, oh, I'm not getting toys, whatever. But Berkeley, we're like, man, you might get a call from Santa, and there's, like, apps on your phone that you can download, and Santa will, like, call him. You say what the call for is, like, you didn't eat your dinner. You might have to go on the naughty list. Make sure to do everything Mommy and Daddy does. So it's pretty cool. So if she's, like, acting up, we
So
just...
the elf on the shelf, you can have it say that?
Not the Elf on the Shelf, but, like, he gets a
Oh.
call from Santa. But the Elf on the Shelf tells Santa things.
Oh.
So he's a little narc.
I don't think I like that thing. That
I
just
don't like
sounds-
narcs at all.
No,
I-
and it sounds creepy too. Like to
Elf
have
on
some.
the shelf.
Well, yeah, like yeah, an elf on the shelf.
well,
just
Santa's
staring at
creepy.
us.
Like,
Okay, yeah, knows
He
when you're
spies on
sleeping,
kids all year.
Knows when
He's
you're
a
awake.
fat pedo giving people.
I saw a thing on it was like
Candy. It's like
Medscape or I don't know,
Interesting.
some health thing, but they were talking about is Santa a good role model? And they went from like the health stuff, and he's like overweight, aka fat, and
We'll have to bleep that out.
he has a really bad diet, and so they're like, is he a really good role model? I read like the first bit, and I was like, well, this is a stupid article, so then I closed it.
That
But
sounds like a dumb article.
I was like, you guys realize he's fake, right?
Well, and the idea though, it's like, sure, I don't know. When people think of a role model, how many people think physical first before like what they do? Is that probably the first thing?
I think like achievements.
Yeah, most people look at like, oh, I want to be like him because of what he did, not because of what they look like initially. I mean, I'm sure that's probably a factor in some areas, but it's like, I think most people would say, oh, he's a jolly old man. It's like, oh, yay. That's, you'd think of that first before,
Mhm.
oh, he's unhealthy, overweight, and going to die of diabetes. It's like, I don't know, for a role model idea.
Mm-hmm. I think people take themselves too serious.
Well, they take silly things, like things that were never meant to be taken seriously.
Mhm.
And you're like, why are you taking this serious? But I don't know.
So you guys realize this is fake, right?
Yeah.
Santa's not true. And then they're like, "Pfft, my parents never told me. So I never had it realized.
Do you think
Just
kids
kidding.
would really hold that against their parents much?
I can
Like-
believe it.
But as like, would that be almost like the tip of an iceberg?
hold
for
it
a
against
kid,
them
though?
for like...
Like, you
not
lied to
telling
me
them?
my whole childhood that Santa was real, and it's like, how could you lie to me? And
I've had nieces that
I've
cried.
heard of people like that.
They're like,
and
so
I
you've been
don't
lying
know.
this whole time?
See, I
That's
never
what they
felt
said.
that like hurt when I found out. I was just like, oh, it was a little disappointing, and I was just like, oh. And then I saw my present, like, well, I still got what I want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Isn't it a little interesting how we choose which folklore to go along with, though? Because, like, so many
Yeah.
kids believe in Santa, but none of them, like, very few. I legitimately don't think very many of them believe, like, the Tooth Fairy's real. Like, that's just too out there.
Yeah.
That
But
is
then, like,
interesting.
Like-
St. Patrick's Day, like, the little,
You're going to find 13-year-olds that still believe in the Tooth Fairy.
yeah.
It's the songs. There's no songs for the Tooth Fairy.
And you don't...
There's
I
a
don't know, I
bunch
guess you
about
get money,
Santa.
but...
So it's just the fact that everybody makes a big deal out of it, that people go along with the fantasies.
Well, it's
I think
because
so.
marketing and businesses push Santa so they can sell their product.
Right.
And that's how they keep Santa
Hey,
alive.
Coke kept him alive. See, if you got Coke to do a Tooth Fairy thing, I think
Yeah,
it would
Santa
probably-
does so much cocaine, which is funny because he's
Yeah.
just so overweight. You'd think all that cocaine would help him lose weight, but that's how he does that many kids in one night.
Yeah.
How he gives them presents. It's still dirty. I can't say does all the kids in one night, gives them a present.
Does
I
he
can't
pay
say visits the
Does
kid.
he pay the troll toll?
Got to pay the troll toad to get into this boy's soul.
Right.
It's soul, not a hole. I miss doing that.
It's always
With
sad.
Shane working.
Oh,
It'd be
that's-
sad to see him go to Ephraim.
It was sad.
It was cool. And this morning, it was like all the guys at work.
I know.
Not sexist. I was just saying it was cool.
Yeah, you totally came in just because you saw Stephanie Shane.
It was my clinical day. I had to come in.
Well, you were telling me you were debating on coming in at all.
Yeah.
So when you came in, I was like, oh, you did.
Well, because I was sick, and that's what I was saying about earlier. Is like, do I come in? But like,
well, it wouldn't have been like calling in though.
Because with my job now, like I have clinical days, so I have work I can do from home, so I don't have to go into the store. But I feel like if I don't, they'll stop being like, John, what do you do on your clinical days? I make graphs.
lots
of graphs. And I answer emails.
Doesn't look cool.
That's like kind of it. And I research things. I get a lot of questions that are really hard. And I'll be honest, like researching laws is super boring. And a lot of them have loopholes. Like I did one just barely about syringes. And so there's OTC syringes, which is like diabetic syringes. So they have all these laws for those syringes, but they don't apply to like testosterone syringes. So once you get past 29 gauge and lower, they don't count anymore because now they're legend drugs. So they're not over the counter and you can't just sell it to somebody. But you can buy them online because there's no law like specifically saying you can't. And there's laws saying syringes, you can do that, but there's also a law saying you can't do that with legend drugs because they have to be written under prescriber's order. And it says that on the box. So I feel like there's a loophole with buying syringes and nobody knows what to do.
So you can buy them online, but if you want to do it in a pharmacy, it has to be a prescription.
Yeah.
For the testosterone big needles.
So technically the right thing is because it's a legend drug, you're not supposed to do it.
Right.
But since the law just says syringes, it doesn't say like what gauge or anything like that, people can take that and be like, oh, well, the law says this. But the strictest law always applies, and that's the legend drug law.
Mm. So you wouldn't want to be a paralegal?
No. I think being a lawyer would be fun just because you can like threaten everybody that you're a lawyer. Like that would be the only cool thing about it. But like, lawyer.
It's like, oh, I don't want to mess with him.
It's so tough.
I feel like in another life I could have been a lawyer. I was really good at lying to my parents growing up.
Yeah, I can do lying and being manipulative and stuff like that. Like I can do that.
That's
pretty
what
well,
they do. They got to work the.
I just hate reading. You have to do so much reading.
Well, an interpretation, I think, is probably irritating. But right, yeah, because the wordage is so messy.
Yeah, and like for the syringes law, I mean, it was in like 10 different spots. So I mean, you have to keep looking. If you just looked at the one thing, you're like, oh yeah, this is easy, clear cut. Then you're like, wait, this law says this, and then this law says that.
Yeah, that's why I think it's kind of cool though, because it's almost romantic because like you have like all this bookwork and all these laws on the books, but at the end of the day, it's sort of like, especially the OJ case, it all comes down to how well you make your argument. And so like even if there's like laws and like clear logic, about how something works, like if you can argue well enough and like convince a jury, you can make anything happen. So
it's true.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, the teacher I had.
Which is cool in some cases,
kind of
but really sad in other cases.
Sorry, if you think OJ was innocent, don't talk to me.
Yeah. I think it's...
Was that part of that show, though? Like OJ versus the People?
That was a really good show. Anybody listening, you should watch that show.
It's on my to-watch list. And we actually did a poll on Twitter.
Was that a Netflix show?
I think it was, wasn't it? It sounds like
it was. It was on
that.
FX.
FX,
yeah. FX did it, and it was... And they're going to do a couple other ones. I think... What's the next one coming out?
But I was just curious, what side of the story is it on his side or the
lawyer's
side? Or
I was expecting it to be very skewed because
did it still stick to what reality was?
I feel it had to have modeled reality fairly well because they present it fairly equally. Like they follow the prosecution and then the defense quite a bit.
Okay.
And so like they go over like all the different angles and like how the defense got like one-upped because they were using play of emotion on the jury because the jury was like, I think there was like, I'm totally probably wrong on this, but it was like, we
do that a lot on the podcast.
Very majority black.
We don't research this stuff.
So they were like playing towards the feelings, but then like it showed like a lot of the state, like how they were like trying to argue for like the evidence, but like it was just really good because I was expecting it to be skewed, but I really don't think that they took a clear like position at all.
I like when they do that, when they just give you like the facts and let you interpret, which I think is missing in journalism now.
Yes,
to be honest,
I think that's true. It's so easy to throw in your opinion.
Yeah, because a lot of their things like, why isn't this in the opinion thing? Why is this like the front?
It's become op-eds instead of journalism.
Op-eds? I never heard that word.
Opinion. based.
That's what they.
I'm not sure what the actual. Like I'm sure.
He could have just said opinion based.
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
Abez
Trying to
was
sound
very
fancy.
cool.
he's going to engineering.
I'm gonna
He
drop
engineered
out.
his own word there.
I'm
That's
gonna
pretty
drop
cool.
out and be a lead tech at Walmart.
Awesome. Well, there's a position open.
You actually, I think max out at like 28.
Is it for lead tech?
Mm-hmm.
But is that after
It'll
like
take
40
you
years?
it'll take you like
Yeah.
20 years to hit that.
It's like, I did it.
But
But by
know
that,
that.
I mean the top will be like, I think the max goes up a little bit each year too. So
they pay you enough that you're not like struggling, but definitely not enough to keep your head like.
To feel like stable or like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm below the poverty level, man. My net so far is 19 grand.
Right.
Like that's below the poverty level, man. I'm broke.
What is poverty level?
It's like I want to say like 24 or something like that.
Is it? I guess I'm not.
it's crazy. I had subsidized housing when I was going to school, but like for a family of two, so a husband and wife, you could make 60 grand and less. I squeaked. 60 grand and less and still qualify for the subsidized housing. I was like, 60 grand and less, like that's not poor. 60 grand's pretty
60
good.
now- 60
I mean, I
now-
came from a small town, so
Yeah.
I mean that's I
That
don't know
sounds
about
about normal.
downtown Salt Lake.
Well, I was looking at Utah County. I guess the average was somewhere around 70 or somewhere. in
I'm
the
sure that jumps up
mid-70s.
a lot once you go in Salt Lake Valley.
Yeah, and I think that's what. Well, that was Utah County. I think I looked up.
Mhm.
So Salt Lake County, I don't know what it is, but I don't know. That's weird. But yeah, it does seem high for me because I wouldn't mind it. It's like,
You're like, I'll take 70
yeah,
grand.
I don't mind that.
But you just got done with school, so you guys are just
Now it's
in the process of starting.
right.
Till you buy a house, then you're starting over again.
Yeah.
Because my salary changed when I graduated.
See, because you're doing a 30-year loan on your house? Just curious.
Yeah, I'm doing 30. I'll probably switch it and refinance
To do
after my
15?
student loans are done.
Yeah.
And I'll go down.
See, I want to hopefully by the time I do that, I want to do a 15-year. Is it a big jump in your monthly?
No, and you actually save a lot more
Yeah,
on
you
like
do.
PMI and other stuff like that.
Yeah, because then you're not paying as much interest. I know the 30-year loan, it's like you pay a lot more in interest, don't you?
Mhm. You
Yeah.
like buy your house like 3 times.
Yeah. See, I'd rather just buy it maybe 2 or 1 time. 1 time would be
Yeah.
ideal.
Because that's what I did. My student loans were 10 years and I reconsolidated to 5. And right now
Uh-huh.
my student loan payments are higher than my house payment.
Because you
And-
squished
Yeah,
them down
because I did that. But once I get that done, I'll use that money
towards the
um,
house.
if I can keep it. My wife doesn't watch this. She spends a lot of it. It's not sexist. It's true. But yeah, I'll try to take as much of that as I can and start putting it towards the house and reconsolidate to a 15-year loan. Like the 15-year loan will still be less than what it was for my house and the student loans.
Well, I heard when you refinance too, like it actually just starts the loan over.
Mhm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So like if you started a 30-year, got like 5 years into it, then refinance, it'd be starting back at 30.
So yeah, let's say you have a $500,000 loan, and then you've been paying for a while, and it goes down to $400,000, and then you switch it to a 15-year loan. It's going to be at 15 years based off that $400,000.
Oh, that'd be nice.
So that so
So-
the payments will be based off that. So your payments can go down because it's a lesser amount as well. So if you were halfway
Cool.
paid off,
Yeah.
if I did the math right, the payments would be
Isn't that the
the same.
same? Just to like pay your house off in cash, like just right up front, like I want that house, and then you don't have to think about it again.
hmm
I don't know how the property tax stuff works, but that'd be nice.
Someday I'm gonna do that with a car. I'm like, I got the money now. I don't need a loan. I'll buy a $500 car. I'll pay cash for this, and they're like, "Ooh, big spender."
It's like you know it.
Which is crazy how much money means less as you get older.
What do you mean?
$500 would have meant a lot to me in high school.
Oh, free, yeah.
Like, I remember one time getting a paycheck for 2 weeks and it was $300, and I was like, man, I did so well. I was working like 60 hours a week, but I was getting paid like $4.85 or $5.15 an hour.
Man,
But then you get to the point where like 300 is nothing.
right.
Oh, I can blow 300 on car parts in an instant.
Mm.
But try and get me to buy a date lunch, and I'm like, no way.
You were talking about that today.
Yeah, man.
What if you bought her a car part for Christmas?
if I bought her my car parts, that would
Right.
work out perfectly.
That's how you do it. You go.
Well, that's what I told him. I was like,
"Say
buy
here,
yourself
babe."
buy her something that you could use as well, because you guys just started dating, and so if she
Uh-huh.
doesn't get you a gift, you don't have to give her one for Christmas,
Right.
and you just
That's
keep
how
it.
you get these.
She is getting a pressure brake bleeder.
She's like, what is that? Like, let me explain it to you, and you'll love it.
It goes for my
That's
car.
how it works. Yeah, it makes everything run smooth, baby.
You love it because then I can drive you places
Yeah, that's how you do it.
if I am also going to those places.
Yeah, that's how you work it.
I have always held out that you have to be. I really feel in this day and age in dating, you have to go Dutch, like pay 50-50 or nothing.
Really?
Yeah, it's equality. I think the whole thing of like if feminists want to be empowered and everything like that, like they
If
got to get out
want
of that role.
'cause
Yeah,
I think it's. Yeah, I don't know.
that would be real equality. It wouldn't be like,
Right.
oh no, you got to pay for my thing, but like, not.
Yeah, there's
care
no way
about anything
around
else.
it with the equality movement right now. Like,
Mhm.
and I don't know. I haven't been in a lot of places in the U.S. where people say like there's a lot of, I don't know, racism with different things, or just inequality. Where it's like I feel overall we seem like we're pretty equal in a lot of things.
think so.
It's getting worse.
Is it?
There are people advocating for black classrooms and stuff.
See, that's
They're
so weird.
at Evergreen State University in Oregon, I believe. The teachers got kicked out of class because it was a day without whites. So one of the teachers got fired from the university for not abiding by that.
A day
dean-
without whites.
Never heard of this, but
No, I
The
haven't
dean of
either.
the university got fired because he didn't handle the mob of minorities properly. It's just ridiculous. I mean,
See, I hear
we're
these
going
stories,
backwards.
but growing up, I never felt like any stigma for not being white.
Because now they need a safe space. Because
Safe face or safe space?
safe space.
For what?
Exactly. For what?
Yeah, I'm like, what space are we trying
No,
to save here?
because everything is oppressive. Everything.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, it
Everything's
feels like that.
rooted in racism, and it's
well, you're just
it's-
privileged, so you can say that.
But it's not
Yeah.
even it's not even just
I-
race though, because
Yeah,
like
No, it's everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, like what we talked about before, with you can't say fat, you can't say nothing. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
everything's fat.
No,
shame.
I'm fat. I can say fat.
Yeah,
like-
fat shame now. Like once you get a label for it, it's like, oh, you can't do it now.
Mhm.
But it's
one
so
thing that
weird.
bothers me is just like giving people jobs they don't deserve. So
Mhm. Through
so there
nepotism
was-
or through other means as well.
not even nepotism, but like filling quotas.
Uh,
Because like at Google, there was the Google engineer. I can't remember his name right now. But he got fired because HR asked for his opinion about the state of affairs between the genders at Google, between the engineers, the software engineers. And so he wrote a 12
I remember
page
hearing this. Yeah.
a 12 page like little memo back to HR that stated he was saying how like I don't get why we can't talk about the difference between men and women. And so he got fired from Google and like his name slandered throughout the media. But
So weird.
they're just trying to fill quotas. And my brother, who I was telling you about, he works up in Salt Lake at a
Yeah.
tech company. And so at his company, it's a pretty big company up in Salt Lake, and they have 3 rings of hiring like you go through. The first is an online phone call. The second is like an in-person interview, and then the third is like multi-manager interview. So like everybody agrees that
round
they're
table
like,
kind of thing. Or,
Yeah.
Those are intense. Yeah.
and so
I imagine they
my
were.
brother was saying that they sent out a memo to only a few people in the higher ups, but that if you get on a hiring call and it's a female, they automatically pass. And
See,
so
that doesn't make sense to
No,
me.
it
Like
doesn't.
I'm not really for affirmative action. Like
That
Asians
thing
have
is
a
mad.
higher
Yeah,
score
did
they
you
have to
hear
get to
that?
get
Yes,
yeah, they're the ones
sucks.
getting screwed.
in. Yeah, so I mean that
And
seems for
then
him.
the African Americans don't, they get a bonus.
The only one where it would make sense to me is if it was on socioeconomic factors, getting into school, not like to get a job or anything like that.
Right, it'd be
'cause
more like for paying for school.
when
like
I
getting
hired,
in.
it wasn't like who worked here the longest, who did this longest. It's the best person for the job. They
or
got
who you
hired.
felt- yeah,
Merit based.
yeah.
But like getting into school, I can see like, oh, let's say you're from a family that has an income of 19,000 a year.
Yeah.
Maybe your ACT score can be less than that because what we're doing is we're improving that bloodline and we're kind of help raising everybody. So
Well-
that would make more sense to me than being like, oh, you're African American, so you
Well,
get
that's
it.
sort of what they're trying to do, because they're saying that there's a disparity between the races because they were slaves then and the whites had it easy, And so even though we've progressed past slavery, that whites and like other privileged people are still benefiting from the head start that they had previously. So that's sort of what it's trying to do, is they're trying to give them a head start. It's just, if you look at the statistics, like they're not performing well in the schools that are giving them the chance.
I don't think they're getting much incentive either.
But
in my opinion,
I think it's all the incentive in the world, though.
Well, they seem to get a lot of crutches, but don't utilize them like to the point. Because the purpose of a crutch isn't to use it the rest of your life. It's to get there till you've healed. Like John was saying, where it's like once you get to a point where you brought them up to that level of now you're reaching the standard, you don't use the crutch anymore. But it feels like they're afraid to let go of it, because as soon as they do, they have nothing else but to keep going on whatever merit they've developed. But I don't know. Because it's like, crutches and all those kinds of things, or I feel like, they're good and they're needed for certain things, but you can't use them all the time. Otherwise, you'll never heal.
Well, I feel like a lot of times culture and media put stereotypes to different races, and that holds people back.
I think a little bit.
Certainly.
And I think it's when people want to use it as a crutch in a sense, where it's like, oh, it's not me, it's not my fault, it's the way I was born kind of thing. Or I think a lot of that idea of, you can actually change your life and, make a difference, in that the real American dream, in my opinion, where it's like if you want to pursue something, you have the opportunity to actually try. It doesn't say you'll succeed, but at least you can put forth the effort and work hard enough at it to hopefully achieve whatever,
I remember hearing
goal you wanted.
It was, I think it was a podcast. I don't remember too much about it, but it was somebody, and they were talking about developing up a system for employers where they didn't say race, they didn't say gender, they didn't say age. They just had the qualifications for the applicant, and they put those in to see how it would work. I thought that was interesting. I think
did they try
that
it,
would be
or
the
they
fairest
just thought
way.
it would work? Did they
I'm not sure if they tried.
There
it.
was actually
cool
a company in Australia who decided to do that.
Oh, how'd
and
it go?
It backfired terribly because they hired vast majority males, and so they backpedaled and fired everybody. And
like, oh crud!
See,
they're gonna think that we did something to
released an
skew it, so
apology
we
in the
knew
media.
it was.
But that is so funny, because in my marketing classes in the business stuff, they were talking about how there is more male in the business degrees in general, and they want to bring more females in. But it's like, how do you develop that desire in a female to actually want to go into business if they don't want to?
So I've actually talked about this with my neighbor. She's a software engineer.
Okay.
And she was like, it wasn't software engineering, it was a different program, but it was at USU, which is a big engineering school. But she was the first female to go through the program, and she did a lot of projects and outreaches and talking to the high school kids to get girls interested.
Okay.
But there hasn't been very much interest.
See,
so she was kind of disappointed with it. But like I like what you're saying, though. It's like, how do you get them interested into it? Because that's what
they talk
ends
about
up
that.
breaking the gap between it is.
So when they talk about that a lot, where it's like, oh, we want to get more females into the into this area of careers, because they're always, it seems, male dominated. It's like, well, it's not because they can't. That maybe they feel insecure and all that stuff, and there might be elements of that, but it's not necessarily because it's just it's not because they don't want or can't. It's because do they want to?
I don't know. It's sort of like men are like naturally drawn to like objects less than people, and women are drawn towards people less than objects. So engineering is one of the fields that gets hammered on this all the time because it's a vast majority male dominated. But yet they push females in engineering so hard. I went to an engineering conference at University of Utah, and almost every presenter had to focus on females. And so I made a comment to the girl that I was dating, and I was saying how like I didn't think that was right, because she works at a marketing firm in Salt Lake, or Sandy, I guess Murray. So I was like, well, isn't it a little weird that in marketing you try to sell to the person who's most likely going to buy your product,
right?
And so education is a product. They're making lots of money off of it. So why is it that they're trying to push a product on the least likely people to buy the product, which is women? They're the least likely of the two genders. Unless
they're just trying to get more women to buy the product because the men are already hooked on it.
They're just trying to fill a quota, so to speak. Because like my girlfriend, she's wanting to be a chemical engineer, and I find no fault with that. Like when I first brought up the subject, she thought I was just like being sexist and saying that women shouldn't go into engineering. And it's like, no, it's just the fact that men are naturally drawn towards those type of things. Like, why don't you see women out being garbage collectors? Like you can make a good living being, hauling garbage, but it's like manual labor that stinks, quite literally.
Yeah.
Or
I
how
think
many?
a lot of that too is stereotypes that you grew up with as well.
Right. I
Like-
think there's a level of that. Yeah.
There's a lot. They're becoming more and more like stay-at-home dads, and then like people are like, oh, that's kind of weird and stuff like that. Well, like that's what's keeping people from like switching the gender gap. If we have more men stay at home, then the gap in wages and stuff like. I watched a video and they talked about how the world's skewing in that, and like it grew up and like nurses was a girl's job, and so that's why their income was lower, is because they were picking like nurses and secretaries and other things like that weren't as high up and getting high paid, or they were having kids, and when they had kids and they went and stayed home, or they went 40 hours to 30 hours and things like that. And they're like, the only thing that's switching it is when more guys are taking off time and the women are staying in the workplace, and that's what's evening it out.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I don't know if you can force diversity.
Oh, you absolutely cannot.
Yeah, so it's like this, the whole idea of like, catering or selling to other people to meet quotas and say, oh, well, we have, this percentage of women and this percentage of different ethnicities. It's like, I don't know. I think it's kind of a losing battle, but I don't know. Someone feels it's gonna work, but it's like you can't force people to be interested in doing something they don't want to do. Unless you're a communist country, then they just do it because you told them.
No, then
So
you
you're
starve
like
to death.
pro-communism?
Yeah, then he started.
Just kidding.
We don't want to do that, but yeah. So it's an interesting situation.
As it is.
So net neutrality, how I was all bummed.
Yeah,
The more I'm looking into it, the more I'm like, because like
it could be okay.
we watched that video that you showed me, and there's already like statutes in place that prevent companies from doing shady stuff, even though it's already happened.
Shady stuff's gonna happen.
But they're
I think.
gonna, yeah, I think it's gonna happen regardless. But because like Apple just came out and just said that
What'd they do?
when they have a new phone come out, they slow down all the old phones, and so
Slow
people are
down in what way?
incentivized to buy they throttle 'em. So
Well,
No,
they
for like data or for Wi-Fi? Like, what are they? Because I mean, the Wi-Fi
no,
radio
the
that's built
CPU
in-
itself. They claimed
really?
that
They
claim that they start to throttle it back based on a few factors, which is like one
Really?
is extreme temperatures, like too hot or too cold, or if like your phone starts to age because the lithium-ion batteries start to age.
Uh-huh.
So then like if your CPU is running slower, then it optimizes the battery more. So that's why they're saying but they finally admitted to it. The techies have been saying that they've been slowing down Apple's for quite a while now, but they finally admitted to it. But
yeah, so I mean, it's happening, and I think people will keep doing it. But I keep seeing more like congressmen that are like proposing new bills and new laws about fixing it, and doing pretty much what the FCC was doing, but making it into just legislative.
Yeah, is it
Legislature. Man, that's a
Legislation.
weird thing. When I say it out, yeah, there we go. Legislation.
Yeah.
Legislation. I don't know.
Sounds like a slushy. Go to
Slushy sounds good
7-Eleven.
right now.
Can I get a legislation?
The new neighborhood market, Walmart, they have those ices, not slushies or Slurpees, but they have ices. They're pretty
I've
good.
never been a fan of slushies. I think I tried a couple.
They're hard to eat.
Yeah.
They're good for the first bit, and then they all freeze and they make the holes, so you have to like keep stabbing
Oh,
it and
really?
stamping it on the ground.
then you get the little spoon
spoon?
at the end of the. You can never use those though. They're so.
You're like, who takes a bite that big?
Yeah.
I inhale my food.
Yeah.
This is America.
Yeah, America.
We just plowed our faces in our food till it's gone.
So another thing I have written down. So on the Joe Rogan podcast, they had a guy come on. He's talking about how he only eats meats.
Oh,
So not just protein, but he only eats meats.
that's right. I want to talk about
And he's
this.
talking about his success. He thinks he feels a lot better. And he talked
Only
about like
eats meat.
you don't need a lot of vitamins and other nutrients because there's not much of a need for it. Because if you eat a lot of glucose, you start needing those other vitamins because they compete for the same transporters. I listened to the 30 minutes because I'm too ADD to finish something, but it was interesting. So I was like, maybe I want to try an all meat diet because that wouldn't be bad. And it goes against like what everyone else is doing. They're doing like sparing meat and only like chicken and fish and then veggies. But he was like 40 something and he looked like he was in shape. But he was an athlete, so I don't think you can base it off that. But he was a surgeon before, so I mean he's a smart guy as well. Not saying that that's a good credential, because there's a lot of weird doctors. Like ones that are like, flu vaccines are bad, and you're like, what? Didn't your school teach you how to read studies?
Well,
like, that's like the whole purpose of school.
That's to
is to be able to find data and see if it's good or bad.
I thought
and
the
make your own
purpose of
judgments
school
on
was
it.
to go and get indoctrinated by some teacher's opinion and say, "Oh, that's how it is." Okay, and you don't read the book.
Mhm.
No one reads the textbook.
The $400 book.
Yeah,
That's the real purpose of school, is to sell those textbooks.
Organic
Yeah, it
chemistry. I paid over $1,000 for my books for one class.
$1,000 for books for one class.
One class, organic chemistry. Yep.
How many books did they make you buy?
There's like 4.
Sheesh.
But the main textbook and then the homework textbook, those alone were like $600.
And then the other. Wow, that's
It's
nuts.
crazy.
So when it comes to eating meat, that guy just ate meat. Like, was this just meat, or did he actually eat anything else? Did
And
he
he
eat?
ate eggs.
So he'd eat meat. Did he eat any bread? Like any?
Nope.
No veggie at all. Zero.
No veggies, no
Completely
fruits.
meat 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
He drank water though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
He's not like blending up steak. He's like, this is
Yeah.
I'll get some water from that.
He only drinks the blood.
Yeah, it's like you gotta eat it all. You go carnivore, you go full out. Because I think I could go with that a little bit.
Well,
Could he use like ketchup? Just curious.
That counts as a vegetable.
Yeah, I know. Like, yeah, did that count?
It would be
was
hard
he
not
able
to have like
some
steak sauce.
well,
and-
seasonings and stuff. Like, I mean, those are kind of not
those
necessarily.
are veggies because they come
Yeah.
from plants, and
Yeah,
I don't know if they count as a vegetable.
get a jalapeno
I don't know the
in
definition
there.
for a vegetable.
See if you could, because there's some meats, man. When they flavor them right, I could probably eat it for a while. I'm not worried
Like,
about
you
anything.
guys eating
else.
at like Tucanos, Braza
Yeah.
Grill, or Brazilian restaurants.
It was great until I tried a chicken heart. My dad told me it was a chicken heart. That freaked me out.
Oh, really?
They always
Did you
say
actually ate it after?
It was like chewy.
I've tried
Yeah,
one
it
and
is.
it's like rubber. It's
yeah.
gross, and
It
everyone like
wasn't my
takes
favorite.
it just because they think they're cool eating chicken heart, and it's like, who are you impressing? I'm not
Right.
impressed by this.
No, I ate
That
it.
don't impress
just to try
me
it.
much. Shania Twain.
Oh, okay. That's
Got the
Didn't get
looks,
that
but have
reference.
you
yeah. I was.
touch?
It sounded
I
like
need
it
a
could have
man.
been like I thought it was a nowadays pop song that I just hadn't heard, but
You guys don't know Shania Twain?
I know who she is
I referenced.
because I saw a long time ago, growing up. We got rid of cable when I was probably like 12, but before that we had like, is it the country music station or something? Anyway,
Yeah, I think that song
And
was
she
big
played
enough
on
that
that-
it was on like MTV and other stuff too.
I remember.
I remember watching the music videos and being like, yeah, Shania Twain. And then
Yeah.
the man, I feel like a woman.
Yes, you know that one.
Where she would dress up. She was in like a. She was pretty.
I remember her the song "Any Man of Mine" for two reasons. One, I saw
Yeah, I
the
know that
original
song.
music video, and two, there was a guy that did a parodies. If Shania Was Mine, I remember that one more because that one for some reason showed more. It was funny. But anyway, that's why I remember that one.
I don't know how we got onto. I was singing.
Your song. Yeah, you sang
I
your
don't remember
song.
what I was singing.
And now we're talking about meat and Shania Twain. People are going to get really mad right here. People are not going to be happy about this now.
Stefan, you dog.
Oh gosh.
I think you guys went a different direction than I was anticipating. I was thinking like women as objects, but you probably, or maybe that's what you were thinking.
No.
No, I didn't think
I
so.
was thinking of man meat.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking of like man meat. I was just, when you said me, I
So
thought
there's-
you were referring to man
There's
meat.
the gay scale we were
Yeah.
talking
Oh, yeah,
about
yeah.
earlier.
Like, what percent gay are you? And so when you say meat, I think of man meat. So
Oh, see,
that's
at
like
least a 2%.
automatic 10%
Yeah.
gayer than.
I don't
it was
know
before I said
this-
that.
So we'll go back to the food.
I don't think even if you gave me hard evidence, I could do that.
What, go to food?
Because I think if
Because you don't eat very much meat, right?
I try not to.
Really? You
for-
try not to.
For more ethical reasons. Like I don't.
But he's a
ethical.
student, so I mean, he
Yeah,
kind of
I'm-
just takes the food.
Yeah,
he
that-
gets,
I'm too
right?
broke to be picky.
Right.
But I mean, if
But
I was on my
ethical,
own and I
what-
could afford to make my own meals,
What ethical reasons do you...
I don't think factoring farming is like okay at all.
Okay.
because like they treat like the animals like crap.
I agree with that. I've seen some clips of stuff that I'm like, and then I'm gonna eat.
And that's
that.
the majority of
I think the reason I don't
meat
want to
we
eat
eat.
that is because a guy that stepped on the chicken or whatever, like just without even caring about it. So actually, would it
But
be
if that
better?
was your job, though, like...
Everyone gets
Well,
callous over time. It's sad.
Yeah.
Pharmacy, bringing it back to that.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you have patients and they're like crying to you. You're just like,
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
I mean, I do.
Just go away. Like, I don't have time to
I'm
talk
sorry.
20 minutes. You come crying to me every single time.
Yeah.
And I realize that
Yeah. You
for
do.
some reason I'm like this, but you cry to everyone you talk to.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I can refer you to somebody.
I think
but
every
You
job
say
ends in-
cheerio.
I have other people.
Oh, it's
That was an inside joke.
yeah.
But yeah, it's. I think we can totally survive on a vegetarian or vegan diet because we
I
have the
believe we could.
supplements. But like, it's very difficult. It's not necessarily the best for you. But like Sam Harris, he does a lot of podcasts. But he has an argument that like it's the most ethical like eating meat. It should be on like a spectrum from like shellfish all the way up to like dolphins, like who are the most cognitive, and like shellfish are like we've seen no evidence that they can feel pain at all. So he's saying like if you're gonna eat meat, you should be eating a lot of shellfish and like
Things that don't feel anything.
things that like
Well, they've done
feel very little
studies
pain.
and plants can feel pain.
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard of that because they're living and I've heard that. I've never seen the study, but
What do you think about? I know we talked about this on another one. I don't know if we ever published the podcast, but crickets,
Was
eating
this the one?
crickets.
Did we talk
Because if you
about
take like a gram of cricket and put it to a gram of any other meat, like
It's really
you
healthy.
get so much more nutrients. It's like it's really nutrient dense because they looked at all these big animals that eat nothing but bugs, and they're like, oh, it's because they get much more out of those bugs than we get biting into a steak.
I think I could eat bugs if they could cook them and present them in a way that didn't look like the bug.
It's just
Because bugs
Yeah, because it
creep me
comes in
out.
like a powder. Like you don't eat like the cricket.
Oh, okay.
yeah, they have a cricket protein powder.
Yeah, so
See,
it's
I
just pretty
could
much a
probably do
protein powder
that.
that you would like put into a drink and drink it.
And it's totally
Or
society.
you put it into like your mashed potatoes and gravy would be like half cricket.
I could go with that. I don't think that would be a problem. My biggest thing is I can't look at insects without being like cringing at them. It always has that feeling because you know how still insects can be, and like all of a sudden they'll just move, and I always had that fear. Even if I know it's dead, it's like it's gonna twitch, and when I'm eating it or something, and it looks gross. Yeah, I can't get too
would
close.
not
I
to
ate
survive in
worms in
Japan.
high school.
Yeah.
There's like a homecoming thing, and I usually never went to the assemblies. I'd like slough and go do something else. But they had one, and so they asked me to be the guy to represent the class, and they had to see which person would eat the most worms, and then a girl would eat goldfish, and then they got rid of it since because I think somebody got sick. But I ate worms, and I had the same thing. If they moved around my mouth, it was like
it's
freaking me
over.
out.
Yeah.
So I had to chew them. Everyone else would just swallow them whole. I was like, nope, they move in your throat and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So I
it's
tried
over.
the first two because I was like gobbling them up, and I was like, nope. So I had to like take a handful and then
That's some
Get
fear
it down.
factor stuff.
Now
right
here's
there.
something though. Would it change our perception of the ethicalness? Because you're saying that the way they treat the animals. Like, what if we like pampered them to death? Would that be?
well, they have like free range chicken.
It's
Right.
yeah, it's a lot better. But there's a
Is it
company.
still the idea that
There's
we're
a company
killing them?
called Memphis Meats who actually synthetically manufactures
synthetic?
meats. Yeah,
They make it out of like
they take a sample
Plaster?
of like they take a sample of like from a living cow, and then they like grow it in like a culture,
Mhm.
and so like they produce like the meat like naturally. So it is the meat, like it is cow, like on a cellular level. They just grow it in a lab.
that sounds really.
Have you heard
weird.
about that?
I've not
But I
heard
mean,
that.
it makes
How would
sense.
you be able to grow a muscle?
Oh, they can, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. I can't remember like all the
Really?
specifics because I know crap.
Like we can
about
take stem
biology.
cells and put in somebody and have it.
Yeah.
I
and
guess
stuff.
that's
like
true.
I don't.
I've
I
heard
wouldn't
of
know
this-
how to do it.
Yeah,
but-
I've heard of stem cell research where it can.
Dude, stem cells are so cool. All the stuff they can do,
Me-
and it's already out. It's on the market. Prochymal. So I think it's PROCHYMAL. But they've gotten through the studies. They have several products out. I don't think they're in the U.S., but they're treating like heart failure. So when you have heart failure, you have muscles in your heart that like no longer work. So they're regenerating that heart tissue. People with a lot of lung diseases, they're fixing that. Type 1 diabetes, they help pretty much grow a new pancreas.
That's pretty cool.
Blows your mind.
Yeah, to grow a whole new one would sound really cool. So if we grew,
Just
our
think if you
meat
could like
that,
grow nerve cells and people that are paralyzed aren't paralyzed anymore. And
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
that is pretty nifty.
I'm cool that we live in this age. It'd probably be cool if we lived like 50 years from now.
Yeah, where it actually was like common to just like, oh yeah, I
Mhm.
need some more stem cells. We all became lizards.
I'm still waiting for the invention on like Back to the Future when they have that little tiny pizza and they put in the thing, hit that, and it comes out and it's a full pizza in like a second. I'm still waiting for those. So I can have like a pantry and it's just like a handful of stuff. I'm like, ooh, Oreos. For the
Have your
microwave.
food stores in just one can. It's like, pour it out. We got plenty of stuff in here for years.
When they come out with that, I'm in.
Then we'll be living.
They can do that
Flying
with
cars.
I would do that with a burger. We could get, that'd be cool to store like a whole burger, like a little thing. Get a big one. Because I've always felt weird carrying around big burgers.
What?
I don't know.
I don't typically
I
travel.
like going to
with
McDonald's and I have
burgers.
to carry my burger from the counter to like, I just feel awkward.
No, I'm talking about like round, like for lunches. Like if you wanted to save it for later.
Oh, so if you like pucked out your lunch and you like pull out a hamburger, they're like, dude, that doesn't save.
Exactly.
I think hamburgers save. Like, we've talked about this before, but I actually like cold hamburgers. They're delicious. It's something recently I just did because I couldn't finish it all and it was a really good burger. So I was like,
Right.
I'll do it. And I took it out of the fridge. I was like, it's even better when it was cold.
You think that
And
could
as
be why you're
leftovers.
sick right now?
It's probably kids. I used to be healthy until I had kids, and now I'm just always sick.
Yeah, I agree with that. Kids bring everything.
So down, never have kids.
Oh,
They're
way ahead of
terrible.
you.
And if you do, you'll have a favorite one.
And you'll get sick.
And then someday that favorite one is going to hate you, and then it'll ruin your life.
What
My
are you-
favorite doesn't hate me yet.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on big families, huh?
I feel like more good parents need to have big families,
There you go.
but I feel like that doesn't usually happen.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You see like huge families and they're just like yelling at the kids all the time. The kids are always in trouble, and you're like, you shouldn't be.
And they go to
populating the
Walmart in their
world.
pajamas. Oh, sorry. Did I mention that?
Maybe we got a different skew on life because we work at Walmart, but
What was that 90s song? Only the stupid people are breeding.
yeah.
Sometimes it looks like that, especially when you watch YouTube and all the things. You're like,
Mhm.
you get all those
You
compilations
walk in an Ephraim bathroom and see a present there.
Yeah.
in the urinal.
So Shane sent us a picture, and I guess somebody took a dump in the urinal at the Ephraim Walmart.
And that's
It blows my mind that people are that
just like that.
bad.
That moment of silence was exactly how the pharmacist was like,
Like,
why?
that's
just-
exactly, if
yeah.
I had to go and clean that, I'd be like, why?
Yeah.
Why would you do this? Like, who thinks that's funny? That
Yeah,
is
it's like-
above 12 years old.
No,
Yeah.
no. I think it's all about the risk. You were saying earlier at the store.
Oh, yeah. I was like, maybe they really had to go, like, when you had food poisoning and you're like, hey,
No.
hey, Payless, I need to use your bathroom.
It's all about the rush
That's
of thinking
true.
somebody could walk in the door while you're squatting over urinal.
Yeah, that's their thing, is, like, getting caught pooping in
That's-
urinals.
That's where they get their adrenaline rush. Oh boy, here we go.
That would
The phantom
stink if,
pooper.
like, you got to that point in your life.
Oh, that was pretty good.
Bazing.
He's not more.
You got to that point in life where the only things that make you happy are things like that. That sounds like no way to live. I'm glad I get happy watching like a funny TV show. Something pretty mild,
Yeah, it does make
or
it.
just sleeping. Like that's pretty enjoyable to me. But I never want to do it. Besides when I'm supposed to wake up in the morning, I can
Yeah,
stay up
isn't
all
that
night being
weird?
like, I don't want to sleep. I don't want to sleep.
But then when you sleep, you're
As soon as I go to
like,
sleep,
"Oh."
I'm like, I don't want to stop.
Yeah, that's a weird conundrum. It's like when you're asleep, you want to stay asleep, but when you're awake, you want to stay awake.
Because we talked about the snooze button. Me and Stefan are both like 20 snoozes.
Oh yeah,
I can't do that.
I was
I
gonna
have-
say Dallin seems like
yeah. We both said
I
like
wake up at
several
the same
too
time.
alarms.
mature.
I wake up at the same time whether my alarm's set or not. So
I used to until I had kids.
whether I go
Do you go
to
to bed at the same time?
Me?
No, it's Alan.
Oh.
Because you wake up at the same time.
Oh no, I've
He
gotten.
goes to bed at like 5 in the afternoon. We're
I
keeping him
wish.
way past his bedtime.
I wish.
Oh, man.
No, like during the school, like I was averaging like 10:30, 10:45.
But that was during the caffeine days.
It's been worse now that I'm not in school because I'm like, oh, it's totally.
You got to
fine.
live it up. I always felt like when I was on breaks, it's like I can't sleep because then I
worse.
just wasted all my time of not having school.
Yeah.
Right.
When you should be resting and recuperating.
Then what happens is now I'm working, friggin' 11 to 9, and so I get off at 9. Then I'm like, well, I wasted all my day at the pharmacy. Now I got to watch 2 hours of Netflix
There you go.
and eat pizza. Going back to that obesity thing, I wonder why.
Pizza sounds really good though.
Pizza's way good.
I went to the Strap Tank Brewery and had their pizza.
What is that again?
Did you have a piece down?
Yeah, it was
The barbecue chicken one? It was really good.
pretty good.
And it's like a thin crust. It was pretty nice. It's like $10 for a personal. But I was expecting
Wow.
like a little one, but it was a pretty big
decent
pizza.
size.
Pretty decent pizza. Yeah, I hate when you get those personal pizzas and there's like 4 teeny slices and it's
Mhm.
like, yeah, $5.
Like this is the size of a bagel.
Yeah, it's like, what did you cook this on?
Have you seen me? I can eat way more than that. My tummy is like this big.
Yeah, it's like, speaking of which, I only ate I ate a slice of pizza and cinnamon roll for lunch. That was it.
As we talk about obesity.
What?
No, that's like a regular meal for
Yeah,
me.
but, no, that's a snack for you. Because
Yeah.
your tummy's this big. No, so it's like,
With a bag of Oreos.
there you go. See, if I had the bag of Oreos, but I ate that and I went through work. I don't know if it was actually what I ate or lack of what I ate, or if it was just the fact that I haven't had much sleep lately. But like, I got really tired, like just dead tired, like, and I was just super. I had a bad headache. I'm like on 3 ibuprofen and 2 Tylenol right now. That's my limit, man.
The crazy thing is
hard
like
stuff.
you eat that bad food, you don't work out, and like you feel like crud, but it's so much easier to do that. Like it doesn't make sense to me. Like I do the same thing. Like I'll eat bad. I'm like, oh, I'm never eating McDonald's again. And then I'm like, oh, McDonald's sounds good. Like right after I say that.
It's like I could go for another.
But you eat good, you do pretty well, and then you go work out, and you're like, I felt great. Like this is awesome. Why don't I do this all the time? And then you think, oh, McDonald's sounds really good right now. I'm gonna go order like 6 double cheeseburgers.
The one thing I've never felt bad after is after working out and getting like the Carl's Jr. shake. I don't feel bad after that. It feels so good.
I can eat too much ice cream.
What? You eat too much ice cream?
Ice cream is my weakness. I grew up on it. Like we had ice cream like every day.
Oreos are your weakness.
Oreo
ice
ice
cream.
cream.
Yeah, that's just
Double trouble.
Wow.
No, but ice cream is like probably my biggest weakness.
all right, Alan.
What?
What do you eat?
I don't drink milk, so ice cream's out of it.
You eat cheese.
Because they
Well,
have cows in
I
a
eat
little
cheese.
box and milk them.
What is this?
I can't do ice cream.
No,
I don't
okay.
drink
What
milk.
do you eat when it's
Are you
your
lactose
guilty
intolerant?
pleasure?
Is it
With
ethical?
food.
I think it's
Or is it
because
IBS?
well,
Yeah.
I think it's because when I lived down in Arizona for school down there, I would bake a whole plate of brownies for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I would eat that. And of course, you got a thing of brownies for dinner. You got to drink some milk. So I drink like a crap ton of milk. And I think I just done
Burn
with
yourself
milk.
up?
Yeah.
So my dad had to cook for a fair, and they had chili and hot dogs. And so I got bags and bags, like Walmart bags of hot dogs. And I ate it nonstop for like 2 months. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I was pretty hot dogged out. But like I was a poor college kid, so like I didn't have a choice what I ate.
Right.
I remember eating nothing but baked potatoes for like probably a week. And then I remember I got a Foreman grill, so I was like, yeah. And so I got hamburger patties and had nothing but hamburgers for like 2 weeks straight.
I can't eat the cheap ramen anymore.
I actually can now. I had
You probably eat with a
I had
fork,
some-
you six.
You bet I do. Like the
long as it's
rest
not a
of
spoon.
society.
You eat it with a spoon. And I have pictures of me eating it. I posted it
And
on
that's-
our Twitter.
No, you have pictures of you attempting to, because you said you did a video of actually doing it, and it was so
Maybe.
Unappetizing.
Well, it looks gross because you're like, I don't know. I think all me eating food is gross, but this is pretty bad because you're like,
I mean, when you can't watch yourself eat it, and you
have to like, because the noodles hang out of your mouth because you're like scooping up the noodles. You have to like bite it and have it drop out of your mouth, and then you scoop it up again. It was just not appetizing. So I was like, I'll just show the before and after picture. I can do a whole packet of ramen in like 30 seconds or less with a spoon.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I can get burnt out of it fast though, because as a kid, it seemed like I ate it fairly regular, and I got burned out of it pretty quick. But I hadn't had it for a really long time, and then my wife's sister made some kind of ramen Asian thingy. It tasted really good.
Like a legit ramen though, like not like.
No, it was actually a packaged one. But the only legit part was some of the spices and stuff she added to it. But
okay,
yeah.
So she spiced it up. It was fancy ramen.
Yeah, it was fancy ramen.
It wasn't just the
there's
chicken
some
and
legit
beef.
ramen. Okay,
yeah.
There's a good show on Netflix called The Chef's Table. It's mostly family friendly, except for a few chefs that like to use the F word. But there's like a chef on there.
That's what you need in a cooking show. The F-bomb every now and then.
But,
it spices up the food a little bit.
There's a white dude in Japan who only does ramen, and like it's like legit cool.
Well, they have ramen restaurants, yeah.
Yeah, I would like to try some like legit one. But anyway, after that, we had some other ramen left over, and we've ate it a few times. I was like, oh, I actually do like this stuff.
You know
It's
what?
been a while.
I ate a lot growing up that I could still do now. You buy those like 12 packs of burritos and chimichangas.
That are like
frozen
really
ones.
cheap.
The chimichanga ones are the
I agree.
best.
I get 2 at a time, place them right next to each other. I put it in the microwave for a minute and a half, flip them over, put the cheese on, put it back in for a minute.
That's right. You got to
Perfect every single time. And then I take salsa, sour cream.
Is it like
Heat it
that
up.
in every microwave though? Just curious.
I do it in every microwave, and it turns out different.
Yeah,
So I have to get used to it. But growing up, that's what it was.
that's
My
what the
microwave
was.
now,
Might
it's
be
a
a little
newer
different.
microwave, so I cook it a little less. But
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you always got to melt the cheese. Got to melt it. Do you melt your wait? You don't
You
eat
mean
cheese?
like extra cheese?
No, just cheese in general.
I did that growing up. Once I got like a little cube of cheese and like put in the microwave and just
With like
scraped it
crackers?
off the plate and like yeah.
Before
Yeah,
it comes
then it
in?
gets like the
Good.
little grease at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best grease.
Have you ever like microwaved pepperonis to the point where they get crispy? They're like chips. It's actually pretty good.
I saw somebody microwave bacon. It took like 20 minutes,
That's not
which I
worth
felt like
it.
it was too long.
Yeah,
but
that's not worth it.
we did
Might as
all
well
put
just fry it in a
microwave.
pan.
Plus, then you gotta like wipe down the freaking microwave.
Yeah,
hardcore.
it's
I feel like
splatters everywhere. unless you
baking
cover it.
bacon is a good way to go because you get the cookie sheet and then you put it on a rack, so all the grease drips down into the cookie sheet, and you can just take them, and they never get like too crispy.
Oh no, that's
Because
interesting.
I don't like super crispy bacon,
Really?
so it's easier to like not overburn it because it's not on a frying pan and burning one side.
I guess I could agree with that. I like 90% crispy.
90% crispy.
Yeah.
That sounds so scientific.
Yeah, it does. That's how we get smart in this.
No, I like it when it's a little bit chewier. I don't like
Yeah,
raw
I don't
meat,
like
but
that
like
chewy.
when you
Not too
bite
much.
it and it turns into dust in your mouth, like that's how my mom liked it
Too
growing
much.
up.
I don't like
That's how we always
dust
got it, and I
either.
was like-
it's gotta be like there's like a fine line, like a little bit of chewy and a little bit of crunch, maybe a little more crunch than chewy. My wife likes the chewy.
Why don't they make bacon jerky? Boom.
That's
First
Yeah,
question.
I mean, we're all just sitting there like, why don't
That's
they?
the deep
Yeah,
question.
That's
was
a
the-
$1 billion.
That was the question right there.
Mark it. Dang it. Stefan, don't publish that part.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, we gotta patent.
You just
this
make a really
fast.
thick one and then you. I wonder.
They make dog treat bacon things. That's as far as they go with it.
bacon!
Yep, that's as far as they've got with that.
Can you do stuff like that on YouTube?
What, it's
You post
bacon?
it, and I did like the slogan for bacon strips.
Oh, I don't think they care.
Do you care? I just promoted them. I used to eat them.
The bacon strips? For the doggies?
I've eaten dog treats. Like when I grew up, I used to eat dog food because we had the canned stuff. And like my kids, or not my kids, my parents would always have to be like, John, stop doing that, and like take the dog food away from me. And I'm like, it's just delicious.
That's weird.
Like I was a toddler.
Yeah, I don't think I ever got into dog food.
But when I was in like middle school, we had like dog treats, and they're pretty much jerky, guys. Like
in middle school, they had dog treats for the students?
no, it was for
Oh,
dogs.
Oh, okay.
We had a little like teacup poodle, and I was like, these are too big for you, so I hate them.
What are they made out of?
Really crappy meat.
Is that what all it is? Is it
It's
just like
like
hot
it's like
dogs?
pretty much jerky.
Or hot dogs?
Yeah, like
It's like just.
I think if I
what is
saw
that?
someone make hot dogs, it would
Mechanically
like turn me off.
separated chicken.
Yeah, that's like the first ingredient. You're like,
Spam would be what would horrify you. How they make that? It's
How
like
they
the
make
first
it, or
ingredient
is it
like
like,
it's
it's
like
in-
guts of a pig?
separated. Yeah, like just gross stuff. Like I'm sure like they take like
spare parts?
spam and mac and cheese.
oh yeah.
Mm.
Side note though, the
Car
best
parts.
breakfast is spam with eggs in bread. So it's like spam and eggs.
So don't read the what,
I've never
what
had
spam's
that, but
made
I-
of, but then cook it and eat it with breakfast.
Because spam is kind of like ham.
Is it?
But I'm not a big ham
I don't
fan,
think
but
I've
I
ever
think-
had spam.
Spam egg sandwich sounds
That's
good.
that's what I have. Like any day that I wake up enough to actually prepare something in the morning,
You take some spam.
that's what I get.
Isn't spam pretty cheap?
It's actually
I don't know.
decently expensive.
Really?
Well, I mean,
it's
yeah.
gotten a name.
Because you don't
for
get
itself.
much spam in the cans.
I come from a very
No, you
stingy
don't.
family
Oh,
when it comes to food.
so
I
when
mean,
it
my
goes
parents
up like 2 cents, you're like, what are they doing? This
Oh, yeah.
society's going
like
to the pot.
couponing people. Like when I went to Arizona, I can't eat mac and cheese either because they gave me a box of mac and cheese, like a whole box that was like a whole box of boxes that expired in like 2001. So the cheese was all hard. So I'm
Oh.
like thinking, oh, it didn't like occur to me that like they used milk to make the cheese. So like it's obviously expired. So I'm like sitting there. I grab my hammer out of my toolbox, and so I'm like boiling the things and like smashing the hard cheese. And then it made me like so sick I was vomiting.
Oh,
So I can't do.
so mac and cheese is
Mac
Is
really
that
and
what
cheese
killed
and
milk
all.
for you?
Have you ever
I
tried to-
think it was just the
'Cause-
overdose.
Oh, maybe
on
The
Yeah.
milk.
expired deli food keeps getting stuff in, but he keeps going back to it.
I don't think it's always the no. The
It's
one
not always
thing,
expired. It's just on clearance because it's gone
Right.
bad or
No,
they
no,
accidentally
see-
sneezed in it.
Yeah, today I had
no, he got a good deal today.
a clearance Subway, like not Subway, sub sandwich from Wally World.
Yeah,
Dude, $4.11. I saved like 48 cents.
it was totally worth it. And the thing is, though, the times that I've been the most sick eating at the deli wasn't discounted anything.
You got their
It was
lettuce,
that-
and lettuce is like
Right,
full
it
of
was
E.
their
coli.
it was their like pre-made salad thing that was
Lettuce is like the number one food
imitation
poisoning
seafood,
food.
and that's what killed me.
Imitation seafood?
Don't eat the salad. Anyway. It was just a bad time. Like, and it was a time I had changed my diet. Was on this new regimen, and I was like, I'm gonna try and eat more salad and all this stuff. And I was trying to stay away from things. And I think I was like giving myself a headache trying to figure out what I should eat or could eat. And that's what I ended up eating. And after that, it was just like, well, it's all gone.
At the day you vomited in the.
Yeah, in the
Trash can.
Yeah, were you there?
No, I heard about it though.
yeah,
It's great.
Yeah, it was. It was.
The Legend of Steph.
The
I
only-
think always
I
getting
stayed-
sick in the
I-
pharmacy. He's like,
Only twice so far that I can think of. That was that one, and then there was the carrot juice, which I actually found
carrot
out.
juice is disgusting. I think we
It
talked about this
is.
before. I don't know why anybody gets V8 carrot juice.
Oh, V8
Oh,
in general is just.
Yeah, I could.
They have like
agree
the
with that.
smoothies, and you're like, I can guzzle that
Yeah,
down.
because it's more fruit
Yeah.
based
It's
instead
like
of
more sugar based.
tomato. Yeah.
Yeah, I just
You
can't
need the sugar
imagine drinking like tomato sauce or tomato soup
with
Tomato
what?
soup is good.
if you dip grilled cheese in it.
Yeah, like the
And you
grilled
can't
That's what I'm
mix it
talking
with
about.
water, you have to mix it with milk. But you're different. Ugh.
I don't think I've ever even mixed it with water. Just
You just
go
put the tomato soup in.
all
pure?
natural.
I like spashing. What was the word I was even trying to say there? I was trying to like spice it up, like where you put there's
Tabasco.
Basil.
Yeah. Well, there was this one that we got, or my parents got from Costco, and they gave it to us once. But it had like a little bit of a spice kick to it, like maybe a cayenne pepper. I don't know what it was in it, but it had like a kick, and I was like, "Oh, this is really nice." Like it was just a nice tomato soup, and when you dipped your grilled cheese in it, made it just amazing.
Grilled cheese and tomato soup is so good, but it's so unhealthy.
Is it really?
I remember I was
thought that would be a
counting
little
carbs,
more.
and there's so many carbs in it.
Oh,
And like cheese has a lot of calories in it
well, cheese is amazing.
because it's full of fat.
Yeah,
Were you guys aware that the Last Supper was actually
with cheese.
with grilled cheese?
Was it
It's
really?
well documented.
well
documented.
documented. Was it in some kind of Hebrew text that they just found?
Oh,
No,
no.
Kraft figured it out.
Oh crap!
Just
That's
kidding.
No. You look at like the
their new
Last
marketing
Supper.
plan.
They have the Kraft singles on the table. And
He's like unwrapping them all.
he's like buttering it.
It's
They
like-
put it on like a.
There's a
skillet.
thing on Reddit called I think it's just called grilled cheese, but like it's just like a bunch of grilled cheese connoisseurs. And if you post a melt on there, by the way, the difference between a grilled cheese sandwich and a melt is the meat. If you post a melt on there, they will kill you.
Well, I never put meat on my
They will
grilled cheese.
dox you so hard.
I went to Katie's house and
You've never done a grilled ham and
ate
cheese?
dinner, and she made like these croissants, and you put like mayo, mustard, meat, and cheese on it in a croissant, wrap it up in tinfoil and bake it. Those are pretty good. Other than that, though, my grilled cheese is just grilled cheese.
Yeah, I usually
I don't
stick
do
with
ham and
that.
cheeses.
But like butter, like a little bit of seasoning. Make it nice.
Well, like
Well,
it
the
makes
butter's
sense
for
because
the grilling part, right? Don't you do that?
No. It's
Do you
just
not
that's for
grill
pure
it?
flavor, bro.
Really, the butter?
You could like put like just that stupid spray stuff on there, but don't you do butter?
Oh, I
'Cause
always do butter. That's the only way to do it.
Makes your inner fatty just jiggle
And
with
smile.
joy. Yes.
so you don't do butter on yours.
No. Lots of
Oh.
butter.
Yeah, I'm like,
Lots
I
of
always
butter.
do butter. Like that's the only way I would do.
Salt
My
and pepper.
brother did the worst thing. Never do this for the grilled cheese. He buttered it, but he also oiled and greased the pan, and his bread got so freaking soggy. It was so he ate
I
it.
was gonna say it lit on fire.
No, but it was so bad because he took a bite and he looked at me and he's like, I didn't even have to chew it. It just
Dripping
slid down
down.
my throat.
My mom would
And
put
he's like,
dill
I
and
think
sage and
I'm like-
stuff on them.
And that's when I was like, what did you do? And he told me he greased the pan. And he's
I don't
like-
know if they had the same school lunches when you guys were growing up, but the school lunches, the grilled cheese there, with it's in like a little plastic bag.
Yeah, I had
And
those.
you have to open it up.
Every Tuesday. Like you got to pick, and I would always go to the deli
Those were
line.
like creepily good, man.
Were they? I don't know if I had the same grilled
Like you
cheese.
feel like I
because
don't think
had
this
like
is
a
even
cheese
real
sandwich.
bread,
Didn't-
but
yeah,
it was
wasn't.
delicious.
Really?
Ah.
I can't remember those. I remember having a grilled cheese, and I just remember not liking because it
Because
wasn't.
it looks like they microwave them.
Yeah, it
in
wasn't
the
even
plastic
like
bag.
grilled. It was it tasted like a microwave. Did you
But
ever
you
try
got
that
tomato
thing
soup with it.
at UVU that just microwaves your food? Like the little thing.
Oh, in the engineering building,
Yeah,
computer science.
yeah.
Yeah, they got this weird like vending machine that like
I swear that's all it did.
it's just like Hot Pockets,
yeah, I got a
basically.
Hot
Like an
Pocket.
expensive Hot
It
Pocket.
was not worth it.
I used to eat so many Hot Pockets when I was going to pharmacy school. Whenever I was at work, that's what I'd go get because I was in a grocery store at Smith's. So I'd get Hot Pockets. They have some good Hot Pockets, man.
Yeah.
I've never been a Hot Pocket fan. Man, dude, you always burn your tongue. Always.
They're hard to cook.
But if
Coffee
you get
and
them
Hot
crunchy
Pockets.
on the outside like they're supposed to, they're worth it.
Mhm.
Because otherwise, yeah, I hate when they're just soggy.
They had like a
all
jalapeno
around,
cheese
it's
chicken
just-
with a pretzel
What?
crust.
Oh, that sounds pretty good. I don't think I tried that.
Oh,
one.
it's so delicious.
My wife likes the ham and cheese one. I'm always one that.
That's like my
makes-
least favorite.
Yeah, that's what.
Tell your wife. John says that's his least favorite.
Yeah,
And that's it. That's,
and that's
all
why you
say.
have to change your views.
I don't. She doesn't have to change. I just want her to know that
Oh, it's
that's my
just-
least favorite.
Yeah, like I'll eat them. Yeah, they're not my favorite either. I usually go with either just the traditional pepperoni or. I didn't really know much about the other stuff out there.
The meatball ones are good.
Yeah. Well, that's similar to the pepperoni one, not much
Yeah.
different. I mean, they changed the shape of the meat.
Yeah. It's like it's the same thing. They just like roll pepperoni into balls.
Pretty much.
They just take an ice cream scoop and just
Yeah.
dig into the chicken.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same.
Here's your meat.
It's like Smeagol biting into the fish.
So juicy, sweet.
Fish is gross. I can't eat fish. I want to because it's good for you, but it's just so
That's a
gross.
weird. Yeah.
I can eat tuna fish. That's about it.
Growing up, I couldn't eat fish unless I caught it myself and like gutted it myself and it was roasted over campfire. Then it's great. But,
Over
like,
'Cause then it just
anything
tastes
over a
like smoked
campfire.
wood.
but fish
tastes
sticks,
bad.
man. Ah, no. Fish sticks.
No, I can't do fish.
My parents,
sticks.
anytime my parents, I still live with my parents, yes. Make fun of me now. Anytime they make fish sticks, I'm like, peace. Going to Mickey D's. Get myself a McBitchin, which is spicy chicken and a McDouble, right?
I get that every time when I go.
Everybody calls it something different, though.
I just call it.
I just call it.
McDouble
I get a
and
McDouble
chicken.
or a double cheeseburger.
Yeah, and a
They're
McChicken.
different. I don't know why.
Yeah, I
but
have to get them together. I
I don't know
why
which
it
is the one I like more, so I always like to switch it up.
Yeah,
And I'm too
Every
stupid
time-
to
Just-
remember.
Just walk up and tell them that's what you want, and like they're also used to high schoolers asking for it. They'll just type that in the computer.
They're like McBitchin.
Some of them even have like that on their second menu. You know, like
that's awesome.
I'm telling
Because That's like the classic combo that
It's so
I've
gross,
got
but it's
for so long.
I know I'm the type of person.
I miss the regular McChickens.
McChickens.
I don't know.
I didn't
they're
like it when they went hot and spicy only.
Really, I like hot and spicy.
I think the regular's better.
I have not eaten McDonald's since I watched The Founder, though.
Oh, did you watch it?
Yes, that movie.
He just said he watched
Does it? Yeah. No, but like, it just. So
Sorry.
no.
It's just funny. He's like, since I watched The Founder, did you watch The Founder?
Like,
it's just funny to me.
It does sound funny when you say it like that.
That's exactly how you said it.
I know, and that's why it sounds funny. Because anyway,
Because you said.
when did you say it or see it?
About 4 months ago.
Dang. Because I was asking if you'd seen it, and other people, I think, and no one had. But
It's
I
a
didn't know
good
you'd
movie.
seen it. I saw it too.
I can
It was
watch
great.
like horror movies, like people get mauled, brutally murdered, and it makes
Doesn't
me
faze ya?
like I pretend like it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me that much. But seriously, at the end of The Founder, I stood up and threw my phone against my freaking futon, and I was like, that movie pissed me off so much because
Oh.
they just totally destroyed the McDonald's family.
Oh,
and,
they
like,
did, yeah.
I mean, spoiler alert, but
No, but yeah, it was.
it's a movie you should watch.
It is.
But
It's well done, and it just shows.
the
like,
family who operates McDonald's now, like, I'm sorry, you guys are pieces of crap.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like when you watch The Social Network and you're like, oh, Zuckerberg's kind of a douchebag.
I have not seen that one.
Oh yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of these like big companies were made from people who were jerks, like Microsoft and
Like,
Bill
it
Gates.
takes
what was
that.
the
You
Steve
deal with
Jobs
so many.
one?
What?
Was it called Jobs? I think there's two.
There's
of them. They had
like
one
a
with
few.
Michael Fassbender,
Fassbender.
and then they had one with Ashton Kutcher.
I think that's
Yeah.
the one I watched. The picture.
Kutcher one.
They just made him like total jerk.
And I
They
feel
made
like
Steve Jobs a jerk.
I don't know if like that's how he was in person, but he was like a total jerk. I was like, dude,
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm never buying Apple again.
Yeah,
Says
it's
my
so.
iPhone.
again until the next iPhone comes out, and
Right.
then
Or whatever's
I'll
cheapest.
probably be buying that too.
Yeah.
This was free though, so I will never buy a phone without a 3.5 millimeter jack. Period. Headphone
Why?
jack.
Yeah, it's a headphone jack.
Or I'm just saying why. Like it's
Oh.
a circle one.
Oh no.
okay.
This is something. When did they start making those size jacks? Like what? Like I honestly don't know. Like the 70s, 80s, probably in the 80s.
It's been a while.
and they
Since
just
Walkmans.
decide we'll change it.
I'm sorry. I see us 20 years in the future, in hover cars with like half of our body is like a cyborg, and then there's my phone with a 3.5 millimeter
In
jack.
just 20 years.
It's just one of those things.
Wow.
And they had to go and change it, so you can only buy their products.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
Joe
yeah.
Rogan was just saying on one of his latest podcasts, he's like, I've already gone through like 3 sets of wireless headphones because I keep losing them. It's like totally the truth, man. These little tiny little things.
Yeah, it does stink with those. I like over the head, over the ear, wireless headphones. Those ones I don't feel like I lose as easily.
Well, then again, I lose like regular.
Yeah, I know. I'm
headphones often.
I think
It's just small
mine
stuff.
break
makes me-
before I lose them.
Really?
That's impressive.
Yeah, I
Like-
can't. I've never broke a
Where you plug it
headphone
in
thing.
and it connects
Oh.
to the actual thing.
Oh,
Dude,
you
I
break
got
that?
you. $2 and I'll resolder those for you, man.
You just resolder them? Okay.
Yeah.
I may need you. Could you
There
like
go.
solder parts on my guitar?
Dude, I got lots of crap.
Okay.
I got lots of crap. Anybody
that.
watching, you send me $3, I'll solder your headphones for you. One of my friends, he gave me University of Utah headphones, like skull
Mhm.
candy. They were like nice skull candies though. Like one of the sides was dead, and then it had like the cracklies in the bottom cord. And I fixed the cracklies and the headphones. Now I got like, he gave me like 3 sets of headphones, and all of them work. But the thing is, like those things never really break. So if you keep like soldering them, they never break. So I'm never gonna be run out of headphones.
I remember one time when I was a janitor, a vacuum broke. And I was like, "Oh, I'll just throw it away." And my boss is like, "No, no, no." Pulls out his pocket knife and like cuts it and puts it back together, and it worked.
When you understand how things work, they can last a lot longer.
I can connect wires. I don't think I can solder them, but I can pinch and twist and then put one of those caps on it or wrap it up in
I think that's
electrical
one
tape.
of the reasons that companies have started to go the disposable route, where they're like, the public's really stupid. We used to make things that last forever, and now we make things that break really easy. And if you're smart, you can fix them. But most people aren't, so they just buy a new one.
I usually try to fix, like my car breaks down. I try to fix it myself. To a degree.
Yeah. Well,
I
the
think-
degree that I have is like, it don't work. Dang it. We got to take the mechanic.
Like if I'll YouTube it first, and then I'm like, that look hard. Nah.
I love when
can
they
do
say those YouTube, this could be so easy. And then like an hour and a half later, you're like, what was the first step?
that. Like the thing I had to take off like the door panel.
Yeah.
Those are so hard to put back on and not
Those are
break
a
anything.
pain.
I had to take off like I had to replace a side mirror, and I took it off and I broke something taking it. I don't know.
Body panels are terrible. So I used to work at BMW Murray, and there was a salesman. So they had these X1s, which were like these new little crappy crossovers. And they had these cool like running lights on the door panels that I could change color. Like you could make them like blue or green or red, on the interior panels. And so the salesman was like that was like an upper option, but he was like saying, I'm going to sell you this base model, but we'll switch in the new interior. So like they would take like 2 new cars and make us like swap out the body panels onto each other. And so the little lights that made the running lights, they were so fragile. And they're like, by the way, don't break these because these are brand new and like $5,000 a piece for a brand new door panel from Germany. Want to know how many of those I broke? So many. The guy I was training with, he's like, dude, just don't tell anybody. So if you're out there and you're driving an X1 and your lights don't work, don't blame me.
I don't work there anymore.
Well, it's
I
crazy
don't
because
work
like on mine it was a Pontiac, but like they have it and they have these little plastic clips that go into the metal holes on the door, and then they put like this foam on the outside, and the foam's really sticky. So by the time you get the foam off, like all the plastic just shatters, and you're like, pfft. So you're left with like only 2 clips left. You're like, I hope that's enough to keep this on here forever.
Yeah, they make it.
You
so
go over the
it's-
train tracks and everything shakes.
Oh,
It's not too bad. I fixed is it the regulator in the window?
Those break a lot.
it's pretty good.
But I felt pretty cool. I drove around for like a week because I had to order
Just
the
go-
part. Like I took it apart to see what was going on because I saw videos where like it maybe just falls off his track or something, and so I took it apart and realized I need to get a new one, and so I had to like put tape on my window to keep it up as I drove around. It was pretty ghetto, but I
I've had
fixed
to
it
do that.
myself.
Well, there you go. I think it died.
I think that's the cue.
You think
It
it's
is
kind
the
of
cue.
dramatic how batteries die? They
Dramatic.
don't like wear down. Yeah, death. Batteries died.
That's really existential.
It is.
Like,
Were they ever alive?
are we ever alive?
Plants are alive. They feel pain. We talked about that.
We did. Now we're all gonna eat those farmed chickens. No. Okay, maybe we're not gonna eat the farmed chickens.
I think
We're gonna grow them in a petri dish.
I wouldn't mind having chickens in my garden when the plants aren't there, so they eat all the weeds, and they poop and fertilize the soil, and then once I plant everything, then I'll just kill them and eat them.
Just like that.
I think I have a weird thing about meat. Like I wouldn't be able to kill something and then eat the one that I killed. I don't want to see that part of the process.
I think I could if I had maybe a more
If I was stranded on an
Res-
island and I
well,
had to,
or just kept that respect for it, where it's like, I don't know. If it wasn't out of like cold blood, I'm gonna kill you and eat you kind of thing, where it was like, I killed it and it's like
like you strangle
sorry.
it to death, you're crying, you're like,
I'm not crying, but and I wouldn't. I don't think I could strangle it. I would try and do it quick. I mean, it feels kind of torturous. Torture? Is it torturous? Torturous? I don't know. Like if you could.
it's weird when you say things on a podcast. You're like, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it just sounds so. Like I'm missing letters.
See, I keep trying to. I'm racking my brain to find that reference to that book about the handicapped kid who kills all the puppies, and then that chick. Then they're out down by the lake, and his brother has to go like shoot him.
Shoot the handicapped kid?
Yeah. What's that?
He had it.
Whoa, I
I've
don't know
never
this.
heard
book.
that.
No, that's like a legit book.
I'm
Read that in, like,
interested though.
sixth grade.
Like I'm down with it.
You gonna go read it?
Yeah, I'm not gonna read it.
You
I would have
wanna-
somebody tell me about it.
Yeah, you buy the book and
I'll
say,
read
"Tell
the
me
spark
about this."
notes. If they make a movie out of it, I watch it.
That sounds messed up.
He kills.
Handicap as in like in a wheelchair or mentally
It's
handicapped?
like mentally handicapped.
Okay, that sounds.
I don't think a
He's
person in a
playing with some
wheelchair is-
puppies, and then he accidentally kills the puppies, so he hides the puppies. And then this hot chick comes into the barn, and she's like sees the dead puppies, so she freaks out. And then he like tries to quiet her down, but he like suffocates her. And so then like she dies.
That sounds familiar now.
And then
a little bit.
and then like the cops come.
I think it is a movie because I don't read.
And like his brother is like all scared that like the cops are gonna kill his brother. So they're down by this lake, and his brother realizes that they're gonna kill his handicapped brother. So he just decides to shoot him. It's really sad, man.
What a messed up plot line.
Well, this
I
is
kinda like
based
messed
on a
up
true
plot lines.
story.
I doubt it. It's like a really old book though.
Oh, yeah, that sounds messed up from a lot of levels.
There's one of those 5 listeners out there who knows what book we're talking about and is killing them that we can't say.
They can't just tell
They
us.
need to leave a comment on our video or on our podcast and say, "Hey, this is
You can
that
Google
book."
this.
It's more.
I'm not
exciting
saying
to
like we
let
should
other
all
people do
erase
it
and
for
Google at
us.
the same time. That way nobody's talking on the podcast and it goes silent for like 10 minutes. Just kidding. It won't take me that long.
That's okay. I probably gotta be.
You're an adult.
I know. Isn't that weird?
It's crazy. And then you get married. You're not an adult anymore.
You think I can keep a chick that long?
Ooh.
Give it a week.
You got about a week left
I was Googling it and now it's telling me like real stories.
of stuff that's happened.
Oh, that's creepy.
Man saw his stepdad kill his baby brother when he was just 4.
What was
Kept
the
it a
exact
secret.
thing you Googled so we could tell everybody?
Boy 12 stabbed baby brother to death. Like this is it of mice and
Yes, that is it.
Men? Okay.
Of Mice and Men?
I think so.
I've always heard about that.
That sounds
heard
right.
I always thought that was a
The
more
person in the
different.
comments is screaming, "No, it's not that book."
Yeah. Interesting.
Yes, that is it.
That is it. Yeah, I
Lenny.
was like,
Lenny. That's his name. Lenny. Does it say Lenny in there?
yes.
Yes.
Of Mice and Men?
Yes.
I've
Lenny's
heard
dude
the
that
title of that
kills
book
the
a lot.
puppies.
I just never knew.
Well, if I knew it was about that, I would have watched it because it's supposed to be like a really good movie, right? And like a really good book. I keep thinking like book.
Oh, 1992. I was thinking it. Oh, that's the film.
That's a film,
That's
yeah.
the film.
It was a 1937 novel.
37? They were writing
What's
about this
the
stuff,
what's the book where there's like
1937?
kids on an island?
Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies, yeah. That's another one that I don't know much about,
I have
but
not.
I'm like,
Not that one. No.
I should
I
watch a
know
movie
some
about
people
it.
talked about it. A bunch of kids stranded on an island, they end up killing each other. Just out of like crazy social weirdness. Like they single out one guy and kill him just because the majority don't like him.
That would be a
Like
cool.
some weird stuff like that. I don't know if that's exactly what happened. Never read the book, but that's just parts that people have mentioned or talked.
Like
to
I
me
like
about.
psychology and
may have botched
stuff,
that
but it'd be
entirely,
cool
but-
to like study groups of people that are like secluded from the world and to see how their like
Society's run.
societies run and the hierarchy and because you ever watch like a thing on like wolves and they talk about alphas and betas and the omega.
I watched Adam Ruins Everything, and he says no such thing as an alpha.
for wolves.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. Adam ruined it. You go on.
So Adam Ruins Everything used to be really good, but now I call BS on a lot of his stuff. Like he was talking about like you shouldn't buy a home, you should only rent
No, that's
because
you get tax credits and crap.
yeah, you get tax credits and then you own it, and so when you sell it, you keep that, and you're not just paying rent to another thing. But he's like, no, but then you're in charge of it, and if something goes wrong, you're responsible for it. But if you're renting, then the homeowner's responsible for it. I was like, okay, that's like one pro to like renting a house, but like
The one
you're not selling it to me.
Oh, the one thing that I was kind of sold on was being able to pick up and go.
Yeah, he talked about that.
That was
you're,
probably
like,
the biggest thing
more
that
trapped
I
in
thought
one
was,
spot.
Yeah, like going to school, I think an apartment.
I think most areas though you're able to sell your house.
It depends, and depending on how you're selling it and how long you got to wait. Because my friend, he had a townhouse in Eagle Mountain area. Anyway, and he got a job, I think in Ohio. And fortunately, his wife's parents bought it. Like he had family that bought it really fast. Otherwise, I don't know how long it would have took him to sell it. I think it just depends, but
I feel like renting is short-term thinking.
it is. Well, and it's for a short-term area though. Like if you're not planning on being somewhere very long.
Yeah, so I didn't like buy a house or anything until
You knew.
I was
where
like,
you were
oh,
gonna
I got a
sit.
job. I'm out of school. Like,
And you know where
I'll be
you're gonna be.
semi-permanent.
And that's where, I think it's not smart to buy a house or rent if you plan on being in an area for over a certain amount of time. Because otherwise, if it's temporary, I don't know.
We talked about like some cool stuff, like how we should tell each other what we make, how that should be open and everyone should say it, because then you get paid fairly.
I can see that one.
Because me being the manager, I saw what everybody made, and I was like, this is BS. Like, if I owned and ran this pharmacy, it would be so different.
Well, and even Walmart gets paid better than a lot of other places, too, which is...
Mm-hmm. But, like, the starting rate at which you get paid is ridiculous.
For just everybody?
It happened, one person in particular I'm thinking of. I didn't want to call him out, but...
Huh.
Oh, as far as pharmacist?
Yeah.
Oh, pharmacists?
It was a pharmacist. I got really mad, and I was like, man, I feel like I should email them and be like, hey, this is ridiculous. Because even before I was a manager, if we were both staff pharmacists, and they've been a pharmacist long before I was, I'd get paid more than them as a new grad than they had been for a while.
Really?
It's because they had a different market manager when they got hired.
I was thinking it would have been the other way, that saturation brought the wages down.
Mm-hmm. It's BS, man.
Dang. Well, cool.
But you got a bedtime?
Yeah, it's getting late.
I was going to maybe work out tonight, but that's not going to happen.
Oh, no. Not at this hour. You're crazy.
Do you guys work tomorrow?
Nope. I got off.
I work tomorrow. And Saturday.
I do.
And Sunday.
Yeah, I heard you didn't want to be dragged into any Christmas parties.
Nope. I'm okay working holidays. It keeps me secluded.
Yeah, I don't want to
Yes,
see
it
people.
Yeah. Like, depends on the people.
Yeah.
Like, this podcast is fun. I'm okay when you guys come over.
Yeah. Well, and it's a smaller group. You probably don't like the bigger groups.
No.
There's a lot of people and a lot of stuff, and you're just like, I don't know where to sit. Because I feel like I should be talking to people, but I don't want to talk to anyone here.
You have to, like, compete for conversations.
Right. Or it's like, oh, they're talking over there, so I'll wait. And then they never
Dallin's like, I love big groups.
No.
No, the more people, the
No, he
quieter I
just,
get.
he just has pizza and Netflix. That's the small groups he likes. That's good.
Unless I'm at work, and then I feel like I'm forced to do it, like it's part of my job. One thing I hate is being fake friendly. Like, I have to do it, and it bugs me. I feel so fake.
You're not friendly?
Not at heart. Just kidding. I think I'm a nice guy overall, but, like, I don't know. You have to be like, because my personality is not like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, that sounds great. Like, I'm like, hey, yeah, okay, sounds good.
That's
like,
cool.
pretty chill,
Yeah.
mono emotion. But, like, oh, your prescription, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And it bugs me. I feel like I'm a lesser person. And I disappoint myself.
I feel lesser when we get on a call with Walgreens and they're like, hey, how's it going? You got Adderall in stock? I'm like, you got Adderall in stock.
Someone's got.
Did someone take all your Adderall?
Or they have like a
Was
radio
it you?
voice. Hey, how you doing? Can I get your pharmacist?
Like, anytime you hear Shane. So, anybody listen to the podcast, the guy that opens up, it's Shane.
Oh, yeah.
And if there was a movie and they needed a voice for God, it would be him. And, like, it's his regular voice. He's, like, not trying to be deep. And then, that was the chair.
Was it?
I feel like he could do an Allstate commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Easily. Well, and it's not just because he's got the deep voice, though. It's because he's
He's
got
like professional
chill,
about it, too, yeah.
But he's got the chill as well, where it's like that inviting.
That
like,
is correct.
yeah, you could be part of this. I don't know. He does
Yeah,
it.
I've only
Yeah, we
seen him
didn't
get
have-
chewed out at work once.
Oh, really?
That was because the lady was crazy.
Yeah.
It's because he's attractive.
Sure, I guess.
No. I mean, the more attractive you are, the less people get mad at you.
Oh, is that what that is?
I think so. Kind of like the sex harassment. If you're good looking, nobody cares.
Maybe that's why Well, I get yelled at plenty. Never mind.
Also, I think there's an authority aspect
Yeah, you
too.
do.
Because
I get yelled at a lot.
like someone will be yelling
Well-
at the cashier, and then I'll come over as the pharmacist, and then they're like 180. They're all of a sudden like really nice.
That really bothers me. They'll talk
With
like
who?
they'll
And it's like nothing I'm doing special. It's just because boss man's coming, and like
What
I
are you
don't know,
talking
it's
about?
crazy.
how they can boss us around and cuss
until
at
the
us, but then as soon as little
pharmacist
Johnny
comes.
steps over in his little
Yeah.
white smock, they become the nicest little sweet old lady in the world.
Maybe it's because I'm a little guy. I'm like, oh,
No, they-
puppy.
The only
I
the
think
only
it's the
pharmacist
white
they
smock.
don't do it to is Rebecca, because she'll talk crap.
Yeah,
She'll scrap
True.
with them.
and
Yeah.
you never think that with their personality until you like call her Becky,
Or,
I wanna try
give her
that.
fake spoilers
or give her fake spoilers.
of
Yeah.
Star Wars, specifically
And you're
Star
like,
Wars.
whoa, I'm
Then
sorry.
you're dead. I almost died.
But
Like,
no, she's
literally.
like really cool and personable, so that's why it like
Yeah.
throws you off. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I thought I was kidding with the,
Yeah.
but no.
No, you got when you kid with her, man. Gotta be careful.
Pre-existing conditions.
Is that Anna? Oh, sorry. I didn't say Anna. Okay, it said Anna.
Do you think anybody's ever gonna listen to these
No.
Because there's like things I want to say about work, because we'd have really good things, or I have that whole pee and in a drinking fountain and the teacher drank it. But I was like, what happens if they ever hear this? Like, I would feel bad. I should just not care anymore.
I don't think
And
we
just say whatever.
We have cared. That's why
Well,
we
the thing
do
is,
this.
right now, the only people that are going to watch this are the people that you work with.
The three people that are talking. On it.
Yeah, well,
My wife
listen to
hasn't
it.
even listened to any of them.
I think my wife listened to the first one.
Our wives don't even listen to it.
Well, and I have a hard time listening to it myself.
Why do you post it online?
Why? So other people can hear it. There's an audience for everything. That's why. Well, because when I listen to it, we're the ones recording it, so I don't know if I like hearing myself again say the same things I already know I said.
Like, yeah, I already experienced this
Yeah, I
once.
was
I
like,
don't need to
I
hear
was
it again.
there. Yeah,
Like
it's
somebody that doesn't watch their own movies, they're like, yeah, I know what happens. I was in it. I read the script like 100 times.
See, yeah, like, well, and yeah, I don't usually watch a lot of movies by myself. I usually watch them with other people, because then I can talk about it with them. But
I don't-
like, listen to a podcast. It's like I can sit there and I don't know.
That's a great advertisement
Yeah.
for Chit Chat, that podcast.
Listen to it with a friend. That's perfect advertisement.
Probably shouldn't end on that note.
No.
Ashley listens to him because she feels obligated if she subscribes to one. She
Oh,
has
that's
to listen
right.
to them all.
So that's right. Has she talked to
I
you?
don't know.
Have you asked
Maybe-
her
I
about
don't
any
know
of the
if she
past
really-
ones?
She's talked about it and she's texted like, oh, I heard this. She's like, I like that sacrilegious pun at the very end. Because at the end of the one I
What's
said
that?
amen.
Oh, that's right.
And I didn't mean it for that, but I don't really care if that was sacrilegious or not.
Was that only her second one?
On the first one. Well,
the
first
second
you
one that we
posted.
did, but the first one we posted, yeah.
Oh.
Because we've done like a lot that has never made it out.
Well, because I cut them down the first two, but now we're just gonna put it all out there. How long has this been actually?
It's been
Yeah,
a
this
while,
is
like
gonna-
2 hours.
We'll have to take down both of our other podcasts to put this one up. If we don't,
That's
we
okay.
don't cut anything.
I don't think anybody's gonna be bummed that they didn't get to save it.
The previous ones. Well, if we start putting them on YouTube.
But
you can
I'll do a
listen to 'em
test
all the
here.
time.
I think Ashley is one of the people that don't really like me. They're just too nice to say anything about it. So Ashley, if you're actually listening, yeah,
We appreciate you listening to our podcast.
yeah, thanks for listening to it. But at the same time,
We thank all those who listen to our podcast.
You just lost your one subscriber that watches.
Stefan got the majority of them though. I just lost the one.
Majority. We don't have any.
Like, I hate listening to our podcast. I won't even listen to it.
This was probably not going out. The camera shut off 15 minutes ago.
No, but this could still go
It'll
up.
just go to a black screen, and then we'll see how many
That's
people
only
get this
for
far
the
into
YouTube.
it.
No, I'll just put our logo.
You should just do random pictures.
No. Play the pharmacy video with John's face. Or no,
Oh.
Katie. It was Katie. Play that in the background.
Oh, there you go. That would actually be pretty funny.
Which is my impression of Teen Girl Squad. The ugly one. What's your face?
I don't even know if anyone listening to this podcast would catch that reference. It's been so long ago.
Yeah, I think that's before Dallon's time.
I got shown it once, but that was before my time.
Yeah, because
That was when I was in high
if
school.
you think about it, like, we got like a 7-year gap.
Is it
You're
about
22, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm 29. Stefan's like 38.
that? Yeah. And I've probably got the least facial.
Just kidding.
It's like he's
As
the
you get
oldest.
younger.
Yeah, that's how it works.
No, you're like 30, right?
Yeah.
Because you graduated 2005.
Yeah.
Around
We were
2006.
only like, what were?
He's
'cause I was-
13. Jeez.
No, because you were April or March?
April.
April. Yeah. So we were probably like almost just like, yeah, because I was May the year before.
Yeah. So 11 months.
Yeah.
But you think like 7 years doesn't seem that much now, but growing up and what's on TV and stuff like that, that's a pretty big difference.
It is.
So you
Things
get
change so
nothing that we
fast.
say, unless it's
Speaking of
The old
TV,
Never saw Back
next
to the
podcast
Future.
we'll have to talk more about shows. We didn't get
Back
around
to
to
the
that.
Future.
What?
That was
Any of
before
them?
my time.
No, but any of them?
Mm-mm.
Because there's some
Oh.
that before my time. Like I tell people I've never seen the Goonies.
I've never seen the Goonies.
Yeah, and it like
I-
trips people out. And I'm like,
I
and they'll
never-
like try to show me, and I'm like, no, this is something you have to like as a kid.
Yeah, I
You don't
could
jump
not
into
get
this
into
when
it.
you're 29.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out
Well,
what the big thing was that it was.
They say that about My Little Pony too, and that doesn't work out.
Which My Little Pony?
Oh,
Which
you could
one?
have a whole
I don't
podcast
know.
on the Brony fan culture, bro. Write
No,
that
but I'm
down
talking
for
You
the
can
next
have
one.
a podcast just on
No,
that.
but I'm
like
sure
the,
there was like
the
a My
whole
Little
series
Pony
that's what
show
I'm
back
talking
in the
about.
90s, but the new one that's out that's got more modern animation.
I'm sad to say I know that there are 3 different iterations.
See, I only know the 2, so
So-
you're ahead of me on that.
I was
Shut up now, Alan. Shut up now.
I thought it was continual. I never thought it stopped.
Oh, really?
So I thought there was one. So I'm learning stuff, but I've done a little research on My Little Pony because my daughter had the toys and she would like be coloring them, and she's like, "Dad, which one's this?" And I'm like, "Oh crap!" And I'm like googling on my phone. It's so hard. You're like, "That one's Apple Jacks and pumpkin spice and
You know more than I do.
yeah."
And my kids.
And
watch
it's
it a
hard because
lot.
like half of them have the same hair color. So then
yeah.
I was like,
they
"Isn't
only
this
have like
this
a
one?"
new
She's like,
different strand.
She's like, "No, Dad, no, Dad. It has a heart on it." And I was like, "Oh, they have like
On its
tattoos
flank?
on its back? Its flank?"
Is
I
that
was
it?
gonna say ass, but I
that's
decided
a-
not to.
That would have been My Little Donkey.
My little ass.
That was a good one. I like that. They're like tramp stamps on the ponies. No, they're. I don't get it. I think they're annoying. Most kids shows are. There's some that I like. There's Pancake Manor. It's a YouTube one.
I'm so glad I won't know any of these.
Oh yeah, when you have kids, it's
No,
rough.
no,
Dude, Blue's
they'll just make
Clues
it
is
a
where it's
version.
at, man.
The ladies
You know
on it were
what?
hot.
Is that what you
that's
grew up
okay
on?
to watch.
Blue's
Oh,
Clues?
yeah.
Which one? Like before they switched the guy out?
Oh yeah, dude, the original.
The original
I
dude?
can't remember his name
Steve.
I showed my kids
though.
that.
Steve.
I'm surprised how well he's able to keep their attention. Like, really good.
It's
At
something
that
weird
age
because that's
range,
how
I had
they
a
picked him.
5-year-old and
They weren't gonna pick him, and then they did the live things
Yeah.
and like showed it, and all the kids just loved
Did you
him.
read that too? Yeah,
Yeah, so I
about
read
it.
that, and, like,
was cool.
I tried out. My kids loved him too. They just sit there and watch it forever, and I was
Like,
like,
just watch them.
"That kid's just
And the
great
age
with,
range,
or
though,
that
is
guy's
like-
just great with kids."
Yeah, I got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and it's like they both just sit there. It's like even with the age difference, because I
Mhm.
know, yeah, my daughter likes My Little Pony, but or watches some stuff that's a little more exciting, but the younger boy don't. It's got to be super dumb to watch.
Yeah. My one boy.
The one boy, man, he's just. It's got to be to the point of.
See, now we're picking favorites. You just
I
give
didn't-
us a hint.
That was not a favorite. I was pointing out an irritation that he did.
Hope your wife doesn't watch this.
Not that it's 2 hours. No way.
No way.
And it's at the end.
Yeah, she can. Yeah, we already just discussed that our wives don't watch.
Well, I have a pretty short attention span, so like if I listen to a 2-hour podcast, I'm gonna catch like 50% of it.
That's pretty good.
I listen to like 5-hour long podcasts.
But how much
That
do you
is-
get out of it?
Dude, okay.
I can do the Joe Rogan one. Like, there's not too many podcasts
Really?
that I think can be really long, but
I-
Joe Rogan can do it.
There's like in-depth history stuff, and like he covered the World War I in 4 different parts. Each one was like 5 to 6 hours long.
Wow.
That's what I did during finals.
So you
See,
weren't
I
studying,
can't-
you were listening to that?
I can't do two things at once.
No.
My dizzle.
I can't read while podcasts are on, but I can do calculus while podcasts are on.
There you go.
Okay, and that makes more sense for some reason.
Don't
I
know
think it's
why.
just because it's
Maybe just uses a different part of your brain.
Well, calculus is pretty straightforward, isn't it? Where it's not a whole lot of
It's different thinking than reading.
It's more of a logical.
I think,
like,
you're using a different part of your brain.
like this number with this number and this variable, whatever. Like it's you don't have to really think outside the box, do you? Or you just follow the
kind of.
system.
No,
Kind of is different math. There's like
like the basic problems that they teach, but like the difficult problems that they teach.
you have to like expand, kind of like physics where you got to think more about it.
Maybe a little.
Like you have to project like what the pattern's doing.
You don't have to
like, certain
theorize
things.
though. You don't have to really like.
Oh,
When you're doing like summations,
Yeah.
like that would be something that you're like, okay, so if I do this, I don't know.
like basic calculus is like super like incredibly easy, but like
soon
when
as
they
you
like get
jump
in,
up.
like they can give you problems that'll take you like so long you just want to kill yourself.
Mm.
Whereas like I feel like algebra, trig, that kind of stuff, you just crank through them. Like there's not a whole lot of thinking. Maybe with trig, there's a little bit
Trigger can be pretty
because
messy.
you have to visualize things and do it like that.
Yeah, 3D space.
The algebra where you're just like balancing equations and that stuff's
Geometry.
Yeah, it's just plug and chug.
yeah. Yeah, I guess sometimes you have to like, oh, do I use this equation, the binomial, or I don't know, I've been out of math for too
Don't look at
long.
me.
Isn't it the binomial that's the
Sure.
something plus or minus, and it's the square root of something over 2ac? I don't know.
Yep.
And that concludes our...
Officially, our last viewer is gone.
If they had made it this far, you get the CCT badge.
But like we said before, kind of like my jokes. My jokes aren't meant to make anybody else laugh. They're for me. This podcast, it's for me. Even if I don't listen to it.
We all just got off work, so
Yeah, it's like we're all just. That's just right. That's the chit chat. It's the off work dudes.
Hope work's good tomorrow.
It should
want an
be.
easy day.
It won't be.
I'm hoping it's easy. I mean, tomorrow's Friday.
you work with the new staff plus Martha.
Sorry.
Yep, he doesn't
I'm
have to
here.
say nothing.
I'm not a new staff.
You work tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, won't be
But
too bad
he's
then.
Steven.
It depends on the day.
I thought that was all new staff plus Martha.
Well, I guess Steven's always new staff.
It's a hard thing to do for references. Like, I was just thinking of that. Like, because I'm a reference for you. And it's hard to, like, judge it because it's like, when Stefan does stuff that he cares about, it's different than Stefan in the pharmacy. And really, Stefan in the pharmacy is not that bad. Like,
Overall.
not that bad overall.
Overall.
He's saying that to your face,
Oh,
but in the morning
No,
huddles.
I feel like I can be honest
I
with
already know.
Stefan.
I know what goes on in the pharmacy. I know what happens when I'm there with other people, so I know
He
when I leave,
knows.
it happens to me.
He kind of knows where his place is. Like, he's not the first to get fired, but he probably wouldn't be the last.
Right.
He looks at me. Good thing you're not manager anymore.
Wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I don't do any of the hiring anymore. It's
So
awesome.
you don't have to worry about it.
That's the worst part.
I imagine that.
Or having to
pretty
talk
rough.
to people about stuff that you're like, dude, you're way too old to have me to have to talk to you about this. I'm trying not to get really specific.
I think we've gotten specific on that before.
We talked about Rick talking about the stench. That's bad, and it's hard too because he was such a nice guy.
Oh, Rick the Asian?
No, the person that you talked to me about.
Rick?
Wasn't it a tech?
Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard those stories.
that hygiene issues.
Yeah, but
I
wasn't
talked
it
to him
Rick?
about.
the
Rick was
Asian?
the one that brought it up.
Yeah, Rick
but-
the Asian told you about it.
Yeah, but the kid that had the hygiene
Yeah.
issues, he's a really nice guy. Like I
He
like
is,
him a
yeah.
lot.
I thought he was. Yeah.
And like whenever anybody claims like, man, I really like him, but and then they'd say the issue. So that sucked, being a manager.
Should have said that stuff. That would have been such a good line there. Anyway, so yeah, it's getting late over here, and as you can tell, we're losing it.
Cool thing
So,
is,
yeah.
I just Go to bed upstairs. You
I know we've all gotta.
guys don't live far away.
I
You're
gotta
like
drive
5
like a
minutes
whole
away.
2 blocks. Ah.
You're 2 blocks away.
No, it's like 6.
Okay,
It's not that far. It's
Yeah.
probably.
I've got like maybe 5 minutes.
Do I have family that lives kind of over there? There's like the Canyon Road, and then you turn on one of like the first lefts after you turn onto Canyon Road from when you cross the highway.
Yeah.
And then they're like down by there's.
I could walk
Like
here
a
in about
school.
15 minutes, maybe.
It's not bad. That's a fast walk.
Yeah, I'm like I'd have to walk a lot further. Than
And it's
that.
cold outside. I hate the cold.
Me too.
I posted something on Facebook. Somebody was like, man, it'd be really cool if they put a big heater in Salt Lake City so it was like 76 degrees all the time.
Just used to
Talk about
inversion to
global
keep
warming.
it-
And that's what I said. I was like, yeah, and have it like be powered by smog. And then he said a comment about like, oh, that wouldn't work. Or like, maybe we'll have to work something out. Like I was just like, making the whole city 76 degrees, that was already out there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. There's some
Wow.
miscommunication.
Yeah. All right. So that's our episode of CCT. Follow us on
Our special guest.
yeah. Oh yes,
Dallin.
social media, Dallin.
Oh, yes.
We appreciate.
Follow him at UVU campus.
Don't even have social
Just-
media crap, so it's all
Just
good.
walk behind him and follow him around.
Yeah.
You don't have
It'll-
social media crap,
Is
but
it
we do.
great?
Is that
CCT.
intentional?
What?
Not having social
I
media?
just don't post crap, so it wouldn't be worth
Like
your
you
time.
have stuff on it.
So you have
that's how
it.
mine
No, I
is.
have Twitter, Instagram,
Right.
Snapchat. Like I have
But
all
you
that
just
crap.
don't do
It's
anything
just-
on it.
It'd be so boring.
Yeah,
like if
I
you
don't
want to
do
look at
anything.
my like high school photos of like when I had like really bad acne, go ahead. But yep.
That's something crazy that
Yeah, that's how
acne
it works.
goes throughout adulthood.
Some, yeah, I don't know.
Some people don't.
Yeah, I'm like,
I don't know if that's their body changing or if that's just their hygiene's better.
maybe it's like when a car gets stuck in a gear. It won't go to the next gear.
I feel like that's what happened to me. I hit puberty and I never grew.
It got stuck in one gear. It was like,
That was the malnutrition.
Yeah, it could have been. I wrestled, so I mean, I'd have to cut weight sometimes.
uh,
And then I lifted a lot. So I wonder if sometimes
I've
that
heard
does
that.
it.
Yeah, I heard that, but well, maybe I didn't lift very much. I don't know. Anyway,
Oh, yeah. Social media, so we're on Twitter. Chit Chat That Podcast. Instagram, Chit Chat That Podcast. Facebook, Chit Chat That Podcast. YouTube, Chit Chat That Podcast. No
you were
one's
on
going
your
to follow
phone,
us.
weren't you? Yeah, it's
Oh,
okay.
mine went. I just took it off airplane mode, I think. No, it's still on airplane mode because it messes
No,
with
it
everything.
says he was texting. Every time
Down
you hit
was
a
on
button,
it,
it would
paying
go
attention.
bzz, bzz.
You're a guest on our show.
That's all right.
Never told me the ground rules.
That's true. We actually didn't. So anyway, so thank you, Dallin, for being here on our show, and we hope to get more than one listener. Oh, maybe one. Anyway,
We pissed them all
off. And signing off. I'm Stefan.
I'm John.
I'm down.
I love you.
For daily updates, follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Don't miss out on the next Chit Chat That.